we turned the kid to dust.
Yeah.
That was tragic.
And then we killed. What was his name?
Orcus guy.
Yeah.
Him too, but yeah, the covetous.
That guy.
So yeah, the one that you took the license from.
What the fuck was that guy's name?
Yeah, the metal arm. That's the other guy.
Yeah, he had the metal arm.
Metal arm.
What else can you tell me about him?
He wanted the kid. Well, he thought that Taryn was the kid for a bit. He kept trying to yoink her away.
Right, but he wanted the kid.
Yeah, he wanted the kid because the kid is a magical item. Well, not so much anymore, but he doesn't know that.
Now he's many magical items, just in a big pile.
Please, Mr. Stark,
Under the
I don't wanna
floorboards,
go.
like some sick twisted. Anyhow, sorry.
And we basically said, fuck no, even though it would have just been as easy giving him the powder, I guess. Or no, we did that after we killed him, didn't we? We killed him first, and then we killed the wife or two. Didn't we kill the kid after?
Yeah, we killed him after.
Yeah. Just all nonchalant. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fuck. Don't remember. There was a drow that was running around helping us.
Freaking Leander
Kinda.
wouldn't tell us about that stupid dragon thing. Withholding.
Yeah. Kind of detail.
Yeah.
She can tell you about her dragon experience.
No.
Though we all kind of knew before.
At the same time, he didn't really tell you about his experience with the staff here, so there was that too.
Yeah,
to
and
consider.
we pulled the Guardians of the Galaxy, which was kind of important.
True. Fair.
All kind of taking on the energy and warpage and all that fun stuff.
And the dragon face crumbled,
Yeah.
melted, and left the face of like
And
a
now it
weird
smells like you.
demon-y skull thing.
Yeah.
It has the scent of you.
Yeah. So.
Just floss right there.
Yes, if magic were a scent, it smells of Baracus as
The
opposed
shop
to
was somewhat
the demon dragon now.
ransacked.
The which now, sorry?
The shop was somewhat ransacked, as I recall. Leading to some work to do.
There it is.
Oops. That's not cool. That's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do at all. I want to change titles, goddammit. Titles. Oh, they're there.
Wonder much helps.
So, as you were saying,
The key events.
the place was ransacked. You guys had an encounter thereby.
Right.
You guys had an encounter thereby with an individual who was hiding out, tried to do something and then ran off,
Yeah,
if you recall.
And then Drow Chica.
The Drow.
Because she stuck around and
Things
got
got
a few
a little
licks in
messy.
with people. Yeah. They always tend to get messy with us.
Seriously, how muted that? What setting does it use?
There's a fucking gunshot going off.
Seriously,
Right.
now I'm confused because I thought it was muted.
Yeah, circle of shame.
There's a circle of shame.
Yeah.
And we're all in it.
This is a square. Excuse me.
No, the circle goes around the square. Haven't you ever seen that kid show Circle Square? Come on, woman, keep up. Like, come on. This is like
No, I
30
don't
years in
watch-
the past.
I don't watch those shows.
Dating
because
myself
I
over
had,
here. Actually, I think it might
a
have been
kid
more than
10
that.
years ago.
Jesus.
And then I had a kid now. Back then, it wasn't Baby Shark.
Oh, there were some shows back then.
I always like Poker.
Yeah, dude,
Oh my
poker.
God.
Oh, not poker.
Polka
That was
dot door.
polka dot door, yeah.
Yeah.
The polka dot door. The polka dot door.
Oh, for Nikki, it was the Wiggles.
Wait.
Oh, that was
The
bad.
Wiggles. Why don't I know the Wiggles?
They're brightly colored shirts. There used to be 4 guys. Now there are 3 guys and a girl in a very ugly yellow dress.
Dude, that sounds wild and like drug fueled.
I think there's only one of the original Wiggles left. all the rest are like retired, dead.
I always
or
prefer the
just
Hollywood portrayals of children's programming creators as opposed to our reality, which is Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, being the most wholesome man that has ever lived, is actually a children's programming creator, as opposed to like Hollywoodized ones where they're just fucking nuts, and that's where they get their childlike inspiration from. Anyway, total digression of our session. Let's get it back on Jackie.
Yes, sir.
Where were we? So Assassin came out of Descentera's shop, tried to do something with Hiram Cropus, if you recall. You guys ended up doing that for her. Not so much for her, and I guess that might have been what she was pissed off about, is she had to fuck off afterwards because you guys were turning the tide and the guards were coming and all was bad and her quarry was dead, and well, so much for that.
She was supposed to bring me snacks. I'm really disappointed.
Now me too, because actually last week I had snacks. I had a big tray, and then I ended up eating that all myself.
Do you like those? Okay.
Now.
There you go, done.
Really easy to swing you.
Still way too much hardest through my belly.
What else we got? We left on a point there.
Are we supposed to talk about what we were talking about with you?
No, we're gonna go over that in a sec. I just want to finish off. I just want to summarize where our last session left us before we go through a week here. And what was the last piece of it here? Was just the combat in the city, and then never mind. No, that's right. Okay, so that was quite literally it. And on time went. Over the next few days, rumors swirl around town of doings in the swamp, of occurrences, of trades slowing down as merchants find themselves accosted on the roads, unable to make it into town for the plight of so many denizens in the swamp, finding violence or bringing violence upon those who would enter upon the town. One after the next, the few harrowed merchants that do make it into town say it's going to be their last visit. Days pass by of this, over the course of which you do some mild shopping. You hear rumors of a man yelling, crying, apologizing, and demanding in the inn. Every so often being quieted by the resident bard. Regardless of this, a procession occurs, organized for the many fallen around town. Organized for the many fallen of the town.
Not much of a town left.
As the first few days of the week pass by, there is crowds of individuals, the remaining populace of the city, the village, I should say, gathering in the streets, cleaning up the gore left over from the battles. As those few days find the streets finally cleared, bodies organized, the dead sorted, funeral arrangements are made, and a procession is organized. Flowers are brought from all the various fields around various family farms, donating what they can for foods. A small celebration is set up, and a parade is carried through. A few of the more notable individuals in the town, some folks such as the various merchants, the tailor's wife is held on a plinth as she's carried down through the city streets. Lemon Rutger is missing, some of you notice, during the procession as his wife Bethany is carried along. A little dramatic there. That one will do. As the procession carries on, some of the bodies are set to pyre. Some of them are taken to the graveyards, and some of them are taken to a very specific graveyard where they have very notable mausoleums set up. Specifically, Bethany is carried there. As the processions wane, or as the processions carry on, you note Miss O'Shea at the head of the various instrumental numbers. She plays and sings along with performance check. Terrific stuff. Expertly delivering one performance after the next for the people's enjoyment. Spirits are lifted as the event carries on. Food is made and all are satiated, celebrating the remaining life and the growth to come. There are words said by some clerics, and the evening comes and goes. The week proceeds on, still somber, despite the attempt at a celebration. The town is downtrodden, to say the least. With the merchants starting to refuse to come in by the 5th and 6th day, you find yourself in an odd position, where prices are skyrocketing, but for how long before nobody has anything to pay with? With that, you're summarily invited. About 2 days in, a message arrives. You respond. A response comes stating, "Fine, if that's what it takes." About the 3rd day, there's another message, and the 6th day, another message still, but we'll get to those in a moment. As it happens, there's a knock at your door. About the 5th day in to our week.
Go over and answer the door.
What are you doing on this? We'll say it's about noonish. It's about the 5th day in. There's been the procession happening. There's not a lot of customers coming through. Toma's had to go away on a thing, apparently, and he hasn't been heard from in 2 days now. And actually, Leandra's gone. You haven't heard from her either. Baracus is holed up in the inn. He hasn't talked to anybody. Looks. Well, he's been around. So, Lux is still around.
Lux is still around.
Yeah.
With the fluctuating in prices, I guess I'll be taking inventory at the moment.
And you were serious about the writ?
The what?
The writ? You were serious about the writ?
The burning? Oh, yeah.
Okay. First night?
Yeah.
Just set it aflame, gone?
Yeah. It's
Fabulous, thank you.
Do I know this?
Uh,
I guess I can't know this. 'Cause it would kind of-
well, actually, the question becomes, would you make him aware? Would you go out of your way to make everyone aware that it was burnt? Or would you just do it?
No, I would just do it.
So not necessarily.
Cool. Okay. Because, yeah, otherwise kind of invalidates their decision.
It's fine. With all that said, the knock at the door is summarily greeted with an opening door. I'm assuming you're opening it up and...
Opening it, yeah.
Alright. Oh, sorry, what were you doing? Just,
Inventory.
Right, inventory. Very good. So putting down a ledger or carrying a ledger to the door, either way, as you arrive upon the door and opening the door, you are greeted by a pair of heads that step to the side. Their helmets gleaming in the light of the sun, desperately trying to claw past clouds overhead. A little bit of drizzle sprinkles down on a rather repletely dressed individual standing in the fresh muck of the dirt street. And as Fonsi, he says as he bows towards you, Fonsi Krupus. He stares at you for a moment.
Yes, what would you like?
He just stares at you as he's standing there, and like the rain starts to drizzle overhead. and the guards are looking back and forth. Are you going to invite me in?
Depends what you're here for.
I am here to discuss things, as my message might have implied.
Okay, I'm gonna find how to do that.
Just you, not your men.
Of course.
Alright, come on in.
He walks in, haughtily, stepping in, nose high in the air, his coattails dragging in behind him. As he steps in towards you, I'm assuming you just walk in, back into your shop, or you making a show of it or anything like that?
No.
No?
Walking
Perfect.
back in.
As you turn around and enter in, he haughtily walks in, making a big show of his entering in and stamping off the mud from his boots. It splatters, as one might imagine. He walks out. Walks out of the stains he leaves on the floor there. I'm assuming it's just wood, though, yeah? It's not like... Do you keep a rug by the door?
I would say no.
No. He's gonna be a dick about it now.
Pretty sure I made it now.
Sorry, that's not the trap door I made.
As he enters upon, he says, "My cohort will be arriving shortly. You are familiar with him?" And he stands there stoically looking around. Takes a hanky out, puts it up to his nose.
Something the matter?
Not at all. Fabulous shop you have here. Fabulous shop. He just stares around for a while, holding the napkin up close.
Am I present?
I'm gonna say you're out grabbing lunch
Okay.
at the moment. But as you're headed up the road, the camera cuts from this to show Lux making his way up. As you come towards the shop, you see two guards, Kropis men, situated outside the shop. And the question is, would you have made him aware that Kropis was going to be stopping by?
If I had the chance, yeah, I would have let them all know that.
Alright, terrific. With that said,
Are they aware of my presence at this time?
they're not. But more to the point, you also see another body coming towards the shop. Accompanied by another guard is a large orcish fellow.
Okay.
With a familiar gait, stature, and axe at his belt, he heads towards the building with a sack full of whatever he typically carries at his side.
So my objective would be to take back alleys or behind the building to get to
Okay.
the back entrance.
As the camera does a 180 from showing Dr. Goodpath making his way towards Dysentera's shop to show Lux, we see nothing in the street. The camera cuts back to you guys as the knock comes again, and one of the guards from outside simply opens the door, and you see the silhouette of Goodpath situated in the doorway. He enters in, and he has to kind of turn sideways and step into the places. He's so huge. And he walks in, thump, thump, and he stops for a moment, and he brushes off his two boots, and then he walks forward, thump, thump, into the place.
Hello. I apologize for my tardiness.
And he looks towards where Fonzie is, still situated with the napkin on his face, and looks over towards you. He's watering at the eyes now.
Good of you to join us. Is there a window we could open?
Just leave the door open, and he heads over towards the door, and he stands next to it. Goodpath, on the other hand, says,
I apologize for
I could have sworn it was.
"How do you have so much trouble with the sound setting of that thing?"
It's the Facebook app. I don't understand it.
Should be
My
notification.
okay,
Yeah,
look,
dude, set
the
it.
speaker is off.
Click the gear and turn them all down.
I did.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
overriding the speaker.
Long and short. Goodpath looks towards you and says,
I apologize for not being in contact, Shuna. There are many things of interest. Happenings in the swamp, you might imagine. There have been developments too political for my own interests. However, my presence here is purely academic and scholarly, I assure you. However, as you might imagine, your interests in this might give you bias to help.
And he looks over towards Fonzie for a moment, searching for words. You can tell he's uncomfortable trying to address this. And after a moment, Fonzie interjects, "We wish to make an agreement. You have something of interest to us. You have talent. You have skill. And you're local." And he dabs at his eyes, soaking the water away from it. And you see like tears are streaming underneath as he's like having a really tough time with all the herbs and everything in the place. So with that, Goodpath interjects.
There are doings in the swamp where we found the boys. As you might imagine, the flux in the magics of this area come from somewhere, and we believe we may have found the source, or at least partially. The swamps have junctions, magical nexus, underground, ancient things. We wish to discover if this is the case, but we would need someone who is experienced in this area. We offer you with a partnership in what the findings might be.
But we would need our writ.
Figured it out.
Is your phone?
The camera cuts towards you and shows you kind of like a half, 3/4 on the face. Shows your horn mostly sticking in the frame as you're looking there. And in the background it shows Puddlestein walk over and just idly start scratching at one of the chairs.
You need the writ, eh? About that.
Goodpath simply nods.
If it is not possible,
He looks over towards Krobus. As embarrassing as it would be, we would work with you. And he like steps out the door and starts taking a moment. Doesn't splash, doesn't pop. He just sits there kind of dry heaving for a moment. And Goodpath just stares at the door as you guys listen to him, belly aching in the street. One of the guards goes to help him and he's like, "No, get away!" He turns around.
Just FYI, as I was in the alley,
Please do, yeah.
I'll be sending my familiar to perch.
Your owl flutters in.
Yeah, it'll perch.
It sits on the placard, the signpost, out front of the place.
Yep.
It hoots a few times, spins its head, and idly cocks an eye towards the action.
Yep. And just my objective is to.
It shows kind of like a... Did you ever see The Crow? Has anyone ever seen The Crow? Do you remember The Crow vision? Basically the Crow vision for a moment as you're watching Kropus retching in the street from above, and he slaps away the guard, turns around all proud like, and looks back towards the doorway and walks in. As he walks in back towards you, his eyes catch a hold of one of your syringes. I found them finally. Situated on the table nearby, and as he eyeballs it, brings up the rag close to his face. I have the rag, actually. Brings the rag back close up to his face, and he looks around. He says, "There's less embarrassment to work with you in this case, I suppose. Oh. It presents other issues, however. Oh. Your man is indebted to us. Quite severely, I should say.
Which one is that?
The leather-bound one. He's quite skilled, you know." And he finally pockets away the napkin as he seems to have adjusted, dabbing a little bit of one eye with the finger. He's quite skilled. Yes, quite skilled indeed. I'm not sure you know his history. Regardless, he's quite skilled and quite indebted. So he will be helping us, should you not be. Oh yes, he will be helping. But we would like your expertise. And Goodpath stares at him for this duration, and then just lifts a hand.
It would be most helpful, and to the benefit of this village's survival, we should think.
And as he steps back, he looks towards you and he says, "Juno, this town's days are numbered. And it's only one hand that really cares, and has the ability to stop what's coming. Work with us and we'll see to it that your home stands. Don't work with us. Well, I mean, that's that. We'll have no more interest here." And as he steps around, stepping back towards the doorway, he kind of fumbles and trips over his own feet as his boot catches a hold of some of the mud. He slips on it, some of the mud that he stamped off, and catches himself on the doorway. As he looks back towards, Goodpath rolls his eyes and looks towards you. He says,
Despite the pomp, what he speaks is truth. Writ or not, the writ allows us to possibly look at it.
What choice do I have?
Leave.
He simply shrugs at this. And in the moment he does, you watch as his eyes kind of like they shift in a way that Oryx's eyes can for infravision. Infravision eyes can shift color, but point being is as he does this, he almost reacts as he thinks about it himself, and like you see he's got a memory that hits him. Just like some point he had to leave something. But he just, in that moment that he says this so dejectedly, but was so full of purpose, you're just like, that's it. And he says,
Those are your choices. Leave home. Protect it. Or be here when it is wiped out.
and you see the owl sitting overhead on the placard. The guards kind of idly sitting in the streets, completely devoid of any attention towards what's going on as you stand there across from these two figures. The one of them, as his hulking form simply looks at you with these pious eyes, imploring upon you for your cooperation, while the other seems just as ready to walk away from it all and set it ablaze himself. What do you do? You think to yourself for a moment about your inventory, and the book is heavy in your hand as you think of the numbers that you've counted off so far. 14 pounds. 50 pounds. You get a whole barrel of that. The whole room is full of all this stuff. Could you leave town? Could you leave Maloran's Rest? Where would you go? You could go north. You could go north. North is nice. I mean, it's deeper into the swamp. There could be more options. You've got the writ. But you gotta wait for Toma. What if they attack before Toma gets back? When is Toma gonna get back? Where's Toma? Where's Lux?
Where's everyone?
As the camera kind of like focuses on your face and slowly starts to pull back, and it shows the background growing further and further and further away from you. And it shows Goodpath standing over on the side, and he looks... as he's standing there, he looks towards you, leaning into frame, and says, "Are you okay?
Are you alright?
Don't know what to do.
Kropis just gives a bit of a giggle at this.
I need some time to think about it before I decide.
Goodpath nods.
I understand. You don't have law. We don't think. But we don't know. If only there was some way for the town to argue against these swamp peoples. But we simply don't have the tongue for it.
And he backs up and walks away.
The
As it
tongue?
heads towards Kropis, his heavy footfalls clopping against the floorboards. He heads across and stops with Fonzie Cropus next to him, and he just looks at him somberly for a moment, and then walks past him, stepping out.
It has been a pleasure.
He says, and he kind of just gives a tip, sort of like a half salute back towards you as he steps out into the sun. Cropus just looks around for a moment. Give it some thought. And he walks out, clopping as he does into the sunshine and rain that drizzles down.
I close the door and I sit in one of the chairs and I just
Huddlesteen comes up,
stop.
jumps onto your lap.
What the fuck am I gonna do?
Realizing they've left, I'll enter.
It's only but a moment later that the door opens back up. As Lux walks in,
What was this business?
The new Crocus guy came and he wants me to help him in the swamps.
Help you what? Help him what? We have one thing they want. As skilled as you are, it's generally that grit is the only hope for this town.
camera cuts from there and shows a montage of a wagon rolling along. A bunch of soldiers walking in upon... Tommy, do you live at Dysenteria's shop? Or do you live...
At the shop, yeah.
Okay.
I rent out the
Your
place I
house?
own.
Your big house?
I rent it out. That's how I afford my gear.
No, I'm pretty sure we said you had
3-bedroom place.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
yeah.
I rent it out. It's an Airbnb.
Wasn't it 3 cottages?
Yeah, 3 cottages that are linked
It's
together.
got a Weavern pad outside.
Yeah.
It's real fancy like.
Underground,
Under dark swimming pool.
yeah. It's cabinets. You go at night, lights up. That's how I afford my new armor all the time.
Got a little snack.
Yep.
So with that said, you're checking in on your Airbnb, as it were, when you have a messenger show up with a few soldiers. It's just a montage of you checking in on everything there, and your renters are doing great. They're A-okay. And they say, hey man, thanks for following all the rules like that. 24-hour notice, we appreciate that. It's good to be a good landlord, you know.
Hashtag not dead.
So anyway, there's a montage of these guys showing up, and there's an argument back and forth. Shows Toma viciously berating them as they kind of half threaten him with a little bit of fisticuffs. The one guy's trying to play good cop. The two other guys, one guy's actually annoyed in the shot, and the other guy's playing bad cop. Toma eventually punches out the one guy who's playing bad cop. The one guy's playing good cop just does one of these. The guy who's annoyed and starts laughing. Eventually, it shows Toma just put up his hands and they all walk. There's a montage shot of over the shoulder with Toma as he rocks back and forth at the head of a wagon. The color in the shot's completely blue, but you can see it's sunny out. As you make your way along this dirt road, headed towards some place called someplace up north past Old Axe. Yeah, don't really care. They just said it was several days away. But as this cart just rolls along, slowly and steadily making its way meandering along the road, headed towards some place, the camera eventually starts to colorify, going from a blue to all the various hues and shades of the natural sort of evening that you arrive at a small hamlet, and you look up to see this massive visage carved into a big stone sitting on a hill nearby this hamlet that sprawls out nearby a small lake. The guy sitting next to you, he's a purple dragon. You can tell from his armlets and chest piece, but he doesn't have any shoulder pauldrons or helmet or greaves. Lightly armored as he is. Do you want me to close the door up a bit for the warmth? Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'll throw the
Didn't take long to transition from meeting the
No, it's like you fucking just switch it. Let's do it. 5 is blanket over there. Have the door open. Where were we then? Sorry. The hamlet spreads out ahead of you. As it curls around a small lake, you're brought in towards the center of town there, where they have a bit of a barracks set up. And you can see there's a training yard and a quartermaster's shed, and the sleeping quarters in a bit of a mess. They bring you towards the place. They park the cart and dismount. You're brought in towards the barracks, or led towards them. Everybody's been pretty wordless up until this point, save to say, welcome to Skullcrag. You realize you're only about in, say, what is this, about 4 or 5 hours? It's the evening that you left at. Of the day you left. So pretty much you've just been on a cart for about 5 hours and you're in this other place, this small town over here. You're pretty sure you knew of this place, but you forget about it. It's like Winfield. Drive past it like that, Wake and gone. Sorry. And as you're brought to the barracks and showed inside, you immediately notice a shield hanging, or actually no, it's standing on a ceremonial sort of piece. So it's got ceremonial legs after a fashion. So purple. Not working with me. See if I can. That one. Yeah. So it's got like 3 legs, like a tripod, okay? And then the shield's sitting upon it. Yeah. Like an easel. There we go. That's the term I'm looking for. So the shield, the crest is situated on it. And the moment you look upon it, you recognize the great worm blazoned across it, wreathing around all the little iconographics that make up the Draithseed crest. And you see nestled over in the corner a small group of very large individuals replete in ceremonial armor. And then you look over towards where... One sec, I gotta get a name here, actually. I didn't have a name figured out for this guy yet. Holy crap. Fucking generator, please.
Lumpy.
Lumpy Space Princess.
His parents were nice.
Oh my god, this is ridiculous. There we go. Marix, Draithseed. Marix Draithseed situated amidst some of his fellow soldiers. And looks over towards you as the door opens up, and it shows the door open up and it shows you from over your shoulder, pretty much like the whole time, from the cart, from when you're accosted and the dudes are in your face and you punch out the one guy, it's all just over your shoulder. And then it's just like cuts and you're on the cart, and then it cuts, and then you're walking towards the barracks and the door opens up and it shows the crest, and then it cuts and it shows you walking inside and looking around, and as it pans to the one side and you see these guys standing there and they look over towards you, and Marix gets up from behind a table and looks over towards you, and you see a grin slowly grow across his face. And Marix, now, you never really hung out with him. He was just kind of there before you left, in the background, really loved what he did, killing shit. Loved to represent the kingdom, really rah, Marika. That's what he was all about. So, your dad didn't care for him. The chaplain didn't mind him, because he followed the rules. A little too well sometimes. So, here he is. As he stares across at you with a grin on his face, you watch as he pulls a panel open on his armor and pulls a scroll out from under it. Then he puts it down on the table with a thump.
What's the scroll say?
The scroll says you've dishonored your standing.
By whose word?
Your father
And where is my father?
couldn't make it. You can have a look.
Actually, he's not going to be Scottish.
You can have a look. Take it.
I take the scroll and take a look. Just to make sure that the seal is actually of my father.
As you take the gold ring off of the piece of parchment, summarily placing it over a finger, as is the custom, to show that you've received it. If anybody should ever ask, you unfurl the note, and upon it, in Old Draconic, it says, you kind of skim over it, but the gist of it goes, disappointed to hear that you're using your royal name for so much as a taco. 3-bedroom house, rentals in a swamp, my son. Airbnb. He says, it is an insult to know that my name is being used for such games. To your credit, have you applied for and successfully secured this writ of trade? The swamp that we have seen come across our records, we have no idea about. However, since you have seemed so motivated towards its securement, we have gone a step further. In your ignorance, did you secure this without our full sponsorship? Why, I can only imagine. However,
This is all in the scroll.
this is all in the scroll, yeah.
It's a big scroll.
However, no, it's not really.
Tenderfold.
He writes small for a big dragonborn, or he like has an elf or halfling slave, you know, with a small hand.
The following friend needs a magnifying glass.
No, fucking yeah, there you go. So, what was it? He says, without our sponsorship, for reasons we can only imagine, to this end, you'll find a reissuance with the proper sponsorship enclosed.
Alright, and is it enclosed?
At this, you kind of fan over. Sure as shit. Not only is it the writ reissued, however, or in addition, it's got proper military sponsorship. And as you look back towards the letter, it goes on to say, we provide the Cormyrians with at least enough to that they can provide us a bit of support when we need it.
Alright, I take that with me.
And as you look this over for a moment, Merrick's looks at you, expecting some sort of response and not seeing it yet. But seeing sudden elation in your eyes, like, what the fuck's going on? You can see him kind of like getting uneasy and grumbly. But the letter doesn't stop.
The letter keeps going.
Letter keeps going.
Alright, reading.
As you flip it over, you see on the back it says, with this writ, we shall see you earn your name. You are summarily conscripted to the Farsi swamps and to be protectorate of its people in our name, son. Since you are so motivated, I would see it put to good use. In our name. In our name, bring us honor. Your father. P.S. Your mother says hello.
Not dead yet.
They're still doing their thing. Still making kids.
Alright. Well then, I read and I tucked into my, I assume I'm still wearing my armor.
Yeah.
Tucked into my armor.
And he looks to, as you look towards Max, he gives a nod.
I expected more of a response out of you.
He
For my purpose.
brings a hand up and reaches under his breastplate again, pulls out another badge, and chunks it down on the table for you.
And what's the badge for?
He just nods towards it, and as you look towards it, you suddenly realize it's a military badge of service. As you raise your eyebrow at this literally means you've been conscripted into your father's military. The asshole went and did it. You're not just a knight, like seeking out your own way and blah blah
I
blah.
knocked the badge onto the floor.
Marex just laughs. Imagine the rudest, crudest Klingon laughter that you've ever seen on Star Trek. That is exactly like he's dirty laughing, just fucking ugly laughing. Let us be off.
My father should know better than I work for no man but myself.
Ah, yes, of course. Ever the independent. Go ahead, he says as he walks away. Disobey him. I want you to. And he walks off sideways out the door. He squeezes and kind of nicks the door, stumbles a little bit as
Once
he...
he's left, I'll take your badge now.
You just kind of stand there.
But I took the badge so that the other people in the room can see them taking that badge.
Fair enough. A couple of the guards watching this happen, they were just sharpening their swords a moment ago. You know, this one guy might be just off to the side. He's doing the thing. And now there's just a whole bunch of these guys situated around. Like, they might have been doing whatever, putting away spears or whatever they're doing. And they're just stopped and watching you. And all of their eyes at the same time. And actually, it's like a long shot of you bending down to grab this, and everybody's head just slowly tilts down and back up as you grab this off the floor.
And I looked at all of them, and they politely asked them for their service when I called upon it.
Everyone looks at you and gives a nod. Goes back to whatever they were doing.
Good. Then I should ask someone to take me back. Or lend me a horse.
Nobody listens to you, and it shows a cut outside. The door opens, and it shows you in the lit silhouette doorway of the barracks. As you're looking around for a moment, you hear the cart off in the distance. And you look over, and camera kind of sidelong pans to show the cart over there making its way away. Do you go after it?
Yeah.
Camera shows you into the frame and head off after the cart, shouting into the night. It pans upwards as we hear the guy whoa the horse and stop for you.
Good.
With that, the camera pans down low across the tavern's front facade, and it shows many patrons making their way in and out. That's really not right. Actually, it shows a drunkard falling out a window. And then some people attend to him, and he's perfectly alright, because why not?
Ooh, that's quite a lot. Starting to fall That's a pretty good.
Dance Mix 92? Yeah, why not? That sounds good.
Oh, you're really chilly.
And now I'm freezing.
Is there another hoodie? Oh no, you got a sweater. Sweet. Sorry, it was a specific track here I'm looking for, and now I can't find the damn thing. Am I retarded? Don't answer that.
You know the answer.
Aw, damn it. No,
When
it's
people ask that question.
bollocks.
Just trying to
Do you wear hockey gear?
I don't know how they
Yeah.
You try to lick your gear?
Really destroying a little.
Well, he didn't make the label part of the top that you have to take off.
Camera pans across the front facade of the inn as the sun is shown in sort of like an accelerated frame rate, rising up in the reflections of the window, shining down bright upon the place. It shows Miss Julia O'Shea situated on the front stoop. Does Julia smoke?
Yes.
Right. So, as I was thinking, you were sitting out on the front stoop, hacking darts with a bunch of other folks that have just night owled with you through the night, talking about old times, good times, and whatnot with the fallen gone by. A couple of them served in the militia together. They didn't think that this would happen. This is the same classic old story, told by a whole bunch of different old men and a couple women. Children were there for a little while until they dispersed off, but so it goes. As the camera pans against the front facade here and makes its way inside through the doorways, it shows the place is kind of bubbling, actually. Now we're into the 7th day now. As Toma is shown in the hello, a little loud there. So the camera pans into the place, shows the place bubbling with a whole bunch of people's milling about, ordering up foods and whatnot. Grits are being served. The place is you can hear the sound of gristle being bubbling away on a griddle, and you can hear fires being bellowed as the chuff increases the heat and keeps the food coming. You can see there's a server working her way through the crowd of individuals milling back and forth with morning fluids of whatever sort, freshly squeezed juices and waters and whatnot. The place is it's lively, is the point of it. People seem to be getting back into spirits when suddenly up top there's a slam of a door as you head out, finally seeing air for the first time. The outside of your inn room. You've been a little busy, a little preoccupied for a little while. But now you come out and you promptly are shown heroically stepping out, disheveled, looking terrible, and making your way across over to the bathroom where you're going to get ready for the day. Camera pans out into the street there, and it shows Toma kind of make his way back into town on the cart. The driver's just sitting idle, looking around at the place as he makes his way back in with you as well. And with that, Lux, Dysentery at the shop. You guys have a knock at the door, and the door opens up, actually, being you've already been open for about an hour, technically. So, you might have... Do you do walk-ins? You do walk-ins, don't you? It's a shop, yeah. In any event, different music. That one. Very good. This one? Sure. Someone walks in. Coming upon the place, you look over towards to find a young woman, probably in her late 20s, early 30s, somewhere in there. She's dressed replete in some robes of drab colors, dark greens and browns. Nothing fancy, just drab old cloths. But underneath you can see that she's got some leather armor happening, and she's got some robust boots on that look like they've seen some use. Lux, you notice immediately that she's got some weaponry on her, under her robes. She's got daggers that are obviously situated, tucked underneath. And you guys can both see that she's got a bow around her and a quiver of arrows tucked in underneath behind her that you couldn't really see if it wasn't hanging down between her legs as she walks. And she walks in looking around the place and does one of these, looks over towards you. Hello. Sorry to bother, I'm just looking for some Gamarabic. If you could spare a few pounds, possibly. And you think about it for a moment, and you have 6 pounds in a crate that you have sealed.
Yes.
You can probably do it.
Yeah,
you normally sell this stuff for about $1 an ounce, but of late, you don't know when your next shipment's coming through. It's been... Well, actually, to be honest, I think you were supposed to get a shipment. Yeah, you're pretty sure you were supposed to get a shipment. You think back on it, throw me intelligence. You can't remember when the last shipment was, but it's been a while. You know it's been a while. Not sure what you should charge for this. It's normally a gold an ounce. Do you want to just go with it? Whatever.
No, I want to double the price.
Okay. She rolls her eyes and hems and haws for a moment, and then says, "Something that's okay, fine." And then she pulls out 2 coins and puts them down. You look upon them, yellow, golden, stamped with the king's insignia, or sorry, Suzail's insignia. It's Cormyrean currency.
Looks good. It's real.
Yep. So far as you can tell. I mean, I don't know how far you're going with every coin that comes across you, but yeah, you can give it a chew, and it's soft. It's good. It's got chew marks in it. Actually, other people do the same. I imagine, right? So it is what it is. Right. Point being, as she takes this. Oh, sorry. What did I say? No, she. Yeah.
She wanted a few pounds, and then it was priced in ounces.
You've got no. She's got 6 pounds. It's priced in ounces, and she says she needs. Did I say how much?
You said a couple pounds.
Yeah, 2 pounds. So how many ounces? What is that? So she.
Well, it's 120 gold.
That's 128.
32 times 2 pounds times.
That's right. Yeah. Perfect. Sorry.
What was the name of the herb?
Gum Arabic. Yeah. It's just your standard reagent. It is sap.
Oh.
It's just a bit of a bitch to collect, so yeah. That said, she puts the coins down. You, I guess you know what? You would have it in kegs. So we'll say you have it in kegs at a pound, 5 pound kegs. That's not good. And then, yeah, we'll say you have like a 5 pound keg and a keg with a pound in it. So that works. So with that said, though,
Top up the little one, give her the cake.
you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you pour a pound in. You have a keg with 2 pounds in it. You hand that over towards her. She looks at this and says, "Oh, I didn't realize that the keg was included. Oh, thank you very much." And she says, "Do you have any advice for anybody venturing into the swamps?"
Don't.
She just gives a nod at this. "Well, I'm afraid my travels are going to take me there." And she takes her back. She takes her robe open and brings a satchel around to the front, a big old purse. And she lifts up the latch, of course, and she drops the keg into the satchel alongside. You can see she's got a bunch of other bric-a-brac in there: scrolls, ink bottles,
What brings you to the swamp?
research. And she closes up the latch. "I'm doing a report on the." She looks around for a moment. I'm doing a report for the schools in Waterdeep and Suzail for the ley lines that are traveling around Tyrell, and I'm scared out of my mind. I mean, I've heard such terrible things of this place, and but I'm so excited. I'm going to be going out there. And
You shouldn't be traveling
You
alone.
seem quite well armed, but those swamps are very dangerous.
they are. Oh my goodness! I've had to put down several fiendish things. You live here. You live here. I'm not geared for this. My father taught me many things, but I am just astounded that you survive out here. And she just shakes her head and says, "You wouldn't believe. I mean, the size of the whatever that is that lives in the water. It's long and has a mouth just huge. I just didn't want to deal with it at all. I couldn't possibly. But
You may want to get yourself the services and sell swords. It's better
I don't know who I could trust. I was intending to hire some talent, but it didn't work out.
Most unfortunate.
Who did you hire?
It's not important. They turned out to be untrustworthy. It was unfortunate. I never would have expected it, really. But it serves me right, hiring people I don't know. Anyhow, I thank you very much for the gum Arabic. It was one of the few things I'm missing from my spells. So, I don't suppose you sell any written works.
Not me, myself, no.
Well, very good. It's been a pleasure. Summer is my name. Summer. She holds out a hand to greet you. And then with that, she says, it's been a pleasure. Do you have any recommendations of anybody that might want to perhaps provide an escort out into the swamps?
What do you think, Lux?
We were a little bit busy with some other issues right now, but how deep are you going?
I'm not quite sure. Perhaps a few hours in, according to my maps. I'm not sure what the lay of the land is like.
When do you need to set out?
Oh, no rush. When we can.
We have some rather important business in the next few days. Perhaps we can assist you, but not right away.
Well, when you
We
can.
need to better understand what we'd be in for and what we're doing out there.
We do have a friend at the B&B if you'd like to stay there while you
Cross promotion! Finder's fee!
Yeah.
And at the sound of this, and speak of the devil, as you say this, you see out the window the head of one familiar figure show up.
Oh God, Tomo, where the hell have you been?
You think to yourself as you say this to the room where he's not currently standing. But as he opens the door and looks towards you. Descending off of the cart and walking in towards the doorway, you can see it's slightly ajar, and you can hear voices coming from inside. And the first thing you think about is, customers. With that, the door opens up, and sure enough, Thomas stands in the doorway, his silhouette blocking the morning sun. Again, another day of sort of cloudy weather. The sun desperately attempts to be at its fullest. So you're getting like moments of sunshine and then moments of cloudiness. With that said, he stands there in the silhouette of the doorway, silhouetted in the doorway. As Summer looks over towards you, who's suddenly arrived, and she just looks you up and down. My goodness, she says.
How's it going? Need a place to stay? I got a nice little cottage up the road there.
She backs away from you as you say this, and you can see her slowly fumbling for her rape whistle. Anyway, no, she says, "No, I'm afraid I'm hitting the road soon. However, I would be partial to any protection that anybody could offer on the roads. You seem," and she like ogles you up and down, quite capable. She especially looks at your face and like slowly reaches out, almost like she can't help herself, as she wants to touch your. I'm assuming you have the chin tentacles that I see. Yeah, okay. Chintacles? Sure. Chintacles.
Oh, I got protection for you.
Oh my goodness. So with that said, she asks if anybody, she implores if anybody wants to help her.
If you give me a few days and come back, I might be able to. I just got back from a business endeavor and need to cross the T's and dot the I's.
She nods at this and
I
says,
interrupt and say, we have a lot to talk about.
Yep.
as she steps back from this, now very uncomfortable and unsure of what's just transpired, she says, "Right, of course. I understand. I appreciate that." And makes her way towards the door, closing it behind herself. The camera cuts to show a procession of individuals walking through the town, heading up towards where Lady O'Shea flicks a butt into the street. And you hear the voice shout out, "Mr. O'Shea!" Is that? Yes, it is. Hi there. This fellow walks up towards the patio where you're situated. You see a pair of Cormyrean soldiers situated where he's walking from, amidst a group of 6 horses, 3 of which have no knights on them, 3 more of which do have knights on them, And as the two other knights on foot stand there with their arms crossed looking towards the one fellow walking towards you, you look at him starkly dressed differently with a small bowler hat and a bit of a robe hanging over him. He looks kind of like, I don't know if you know in those kung fu movies where you have the Chinese police dudes that show up. Yeah, you know kind of what I'm talking about? Just to give you an idea of the uniform in question. Yeah.
Please draw. Yes.
He's got a little bowler hat in his face, and he's just robed. That's it. And so he kind of walks like this, and you can tell he's swinging his arms, but it just looks like he's bobbing up and down as he goes towards it. But he opens up his cloak with a bit of a flourish and lets the shoulders fall back, and he takes his hat off. It's Mr. Shea. How'd you do?
Hello there. How are you?
Wow.
I'm doing good.
My name is Silas Holden. Friends with your brother. And he shakes your hand there. And he looks out at the pile of butts, and the camera just kind of like cuts to show this massive pile of butts in the street. And it shows him look over towards you. I can see you've been here a while. He says as he looks around.
Yep, not much to do aside from shopping or smoking.
He fans himself with the hat and looks in towards the looks in towards the tavern and adjusts himself slightly as people mill out of the tavern and make their way into the street, passing him by, heading off to the day's doings. And he says, I need your help, Miss O'Shea. And he walks past you. You mind? And he points towards an open seat nearby you.
Yeah, go ahead.
And he situates himself down, and he lets his cloak fall open, and he gives it an expert, rather noble flourish to the tail as he throws it away. And the camera pans around to show him as he situates himself. And he's got that side profile of it. It shows you, aside him looking at him. What's your expression?
I'm a little confused.
And it shows the fellow soldiers of his in the distance in the street, the one leaning on his staff, or leaning on his spear at this point, and the other one kind of just nestled back against his broadsword, letting it dangle comfortably. They seem totally relaxed.
That's good.
Meanwhile, you see the other Cormyreans, the purple dragons, they're kind of milling back and forth. They've got like a holding pattern that they're following. Oddly enough, they're still doing a bit of a Trotsky around the village roadway there, avoiding traffic or causing it. In either case, in any event, the fellow situated next to you, he says, Mr. Shea, I represent a higher interest in the royal families. And he looks over towards you and says, your brother has highly recommended your services as somebody who survived these swamps. You see, Mr. Shea, I deal in lives. And you can see he's got like a somber honesty to him as he looks towards you and he says, I send young men to their deaths. And I don't want to do that anymore. Mr. Shea, you and your friends have managed to enter these swamps and come out in one piece. And Mr. Shea, we are on the brink of war. And your brother has said that he saw many horrifying things here quite recently. And I feel that maybe you and your friends can help. Our forces are tied up on our lines across the nation. And we've got thousands more milling and making their way as fast as they can to come and help. But Miss O'Shea, there are many interests at play here in this small town. And he looks around. I can't really believe it myself. But we need your help.
What exactly do you need my help with? Can you be more specific?
We need a way to either communicate or reach for the purposes of eliminating the heads of the swamp leadership. And he says this with a bit of disbelief as he looks out towards the street. We simply don't have the resources or the manpower to penetrate into these wild lands without causing everything to go underground. You and your friends could do this, could penetrate into these wild lands without causing them to scurry, to go underground, to disappear. We're too large a force, you understand, and it's too many lives lost. Too many lives lost in vain, Mr. O'Shea. And he puts his hat on, and as he does so, he reaches into his robes and he pulls out a small sack there, and he starts pulling out a paper from the side of it and starts rolling a bunch of leaf into it. And as he situates himself, he puts the smoke in his mouth and looks over towards you as he gives a thumbs up and ignites it with a produced flame.
Oh, neat.
And then a moment later extinguishes it and puffs it. And I need you to speak to your friends. We can offer a payment if it's a pittance they need, but they've got the talent to do it. And they'd be serving a higher order on this. And he takes another drag of his cigarette, and you can see it actually like goes almost all the way halfway down the thing. And he just exhales like for about a sheer couple seconds.
Biggest
Yeah.
douche flute.
Yeah, type of vape style. And he does that, and then he stares out. Do you think you can do that for me?
Well, I can at least try and talk to them for you. Can't guarantee their help.
He drags the rest of the cigarette away in another puff and flicks the remaining bit of it into the pile in the street. Then he exhales that slowly as he gives a nod and says, and that's about the most I can ask. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And he puts on his hat, and he starts to walk away, and he stops, and he turns around. No. Your brother asked me to give you a message. You should visit your mummer. And he turns around and walks away.
Have a nice day.
The camera pans back from where you're situated, showing you framed this small figure against the large building, and the steady in and out of the individual is now milling from the building. And Baracus comes out a moment later, freshly shaven, polishing one of his horns. What a great day. What a great day. As you're sporting those new duds, purple, flashing.
They're red. It's still all red.
Oh, is it all red? Okay,
yeah,
fair
just
enough.
to go with the cape.
I just
Fair.
really great if it was purple.
Oh. Pretty much that,
But red.
but red.
But red.
But it's Prince.
So he's dressed like Prince.
Yeah.
Yep.
From Purple Rain.
Oh.
And with that, the camera pans back over the city to show Descentera's shop, where we pan in through the window and we show an owl nestle on the windowsill, flapping into frame as the camera pans through the window and shows you guys situated around a table. I don't know what each of you drink, but I imagine the conversation has something on the table there. So what do you guys talk about?
I go with the red I got and the bad, and I just
Oh, hold up. This needs music. It totally needs something other than, right? Like, let's be honest. Yes, dramatic. I don't know. Ink and the Storyteller's done. This will be perfect. I know it. Tomo whips out the writ.
What the hell? Wasn't it over the ship that you have that out for?
I can use military for anything that you need.
Yes. We are in a bit of a bind here. That writ may be the only hope for this town. That writ may be the only hope for this town.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I just want to point out. I just want to point something out. When he pulls the writ out, do you fan it out? Do you flatten it so people can see it? So these guys can see it?
Yeah.
Hey. Writs have like an ID sigil. Okay. You didn't think anything of it. It's just like a little mark, right? A little a seal upon it. Okay. The coin itself is stamped. And you never really thought about anything about it. It's not a Cormyrean coin. You just figured it's like a seal of trade, right? And as you're looking at it, you realize now it's the same one as before. It should be, right? But you start to think about what you're seeing on this thing, and that's not a Cormyrean purple dragon on that fucking coin. You just realize it never was. That's not a Cormyrean dragon. And you look towards Toma, and you look down at that seal again. He who bears the writ.
So,
It's the same seal as on your writ, Descentera. The exact same seal.
why do we have a second?
And as you look upon it, you see the extra paragraph that you saw in Cropus's writ. And as he says, I got military support, bitches. You're like, holy shit.
I'm not sure the military is enough. If we're going to save this town, we need everything we've got. Which means we have to play nice with...
Crocus?
This military is enough.
We barely survived the last time.
I just want to point something out. You know Cropus could get his writ reissued. You could just go and get sponsored and reissued without issue. And in truth, the fact that you got a reissue, that yours was reissued, like that's totally unexpected, because that invalidates your writ that you have. Like the one on your body right now
Yeah.
is invalid, because that one exists.
Here's a better one. You might want to keep that one safe. This one's safe.
But doesn't that one say we have to protect what's in the swamp?
Actually,
So the
I want to
swamp
say
people?
that part, it doesn't say that. That's all Toma. It's all Toma's responsibility. That's all on Toma, and he hasn't said a thing about it.
Oh.
Or has he?
I thought it was in the writ.
Yeah,
No.
it was written.
No, that was in the letter
Oh, okay.
from
Oh.
Daddykins.
Okay.
He's... Toma's been conscripted. The writ's still the writ.
And do you have the sigil on you? Like the...
So the badge, well, he picked it up, but what he did with it is totally up to him.
I kept it inside here.
Oh, okay.
Close to his heart.
Crocus could be...
They're coming back.
They're coming back. They're angry, and if we work things right, those extra resources make it a long way to making this town not dead.
The burial will definitely be. They will have to listen to us.
What do you suggest we do? Just sit here until they come back?
Yep.
We need to defuse them best we can.
Just meta for a moment. They don't have their writ anymore. You could go wipe out the family.
They just said that they would just reissue it.
Not if you've killed the family.
First,
First.
it would be an aggressive action, and it would have to be executed well and fast.
I'm just saying.
It would also draw a great deal of attention.
No, even if it is, you can just say they had magical
We
shit
don't
that we
need
cannot take.
a civil war right now with what's at our doorsteps.
What do you suggest?
Where I got this writ, don't worry. The Crocus family will have to obey, and
We need to stall.
won't do anything.
We need to stall them. It's the only way. I don't know how we're going to deal with this, but they need to think. Sorry. Do I know what at this point the original one that you destroyed? Did I know you destroyed it?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure if my owl was close enough. It's kind of an important detail for this conversation.
I don't think I told you. So
Yes, but whether
how would the owl have seen?
oh, good point. Yeah, you didn't openly discuss it. It was maybe hinted at to a slight degree, but okay. So we have two writs. So are they issued to different parties?
What? My
So-
writ and his
yeah.
writ? One is issued for me, and one is issued for him, I think.
Well, for you.
Well, why would it be issued for you?
It's not issued for anyone.
Yeah.
That was the same thing with crocuses, right?
Whoever's
But
why we had
it is and it isn't. It's issued in the name of, but whoever bears the writ can argue that it's theirs. So if you have the writ and Toma's not there, it's not like a BCAA membership. You don't have to like prove that it's yours.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Bad
That's-
example. Very bad example.
why?
You can don't get away with it.
Oh yeah, you can.
You're supposed to.
It's I've done it. I've had
You know what? You know what? It's totally like a BCAA membership. Because as long as you can get away with it, as long as no one's checking,
Okay.
it's whoever has the writ. But if you know what, if Toma's family or Toma wanted to exercise it and be like, "Hey, this is our writ," they can come and demand it from you, or they can go get it reissued, and that's really it.
Which is embarrassing and destabilizing.
Potentially, yeah.
And like I said, right now a consolidation of power will be necessary. We can't have full-scale infighting. Because when the kobolds come back, and the
Any
trolls,
day now.
we have to have as much as we can. We lost half the city. I may not like the Crocus, but we need them.
Something resonates in your mind as you situate yourself here, and you think to yourself,
If only we had the tongue for it.
Could be an interesting venture. Dangerous.
the terms echo in your mind, and you think to yourself, why do I keep thinking about this? This is stupid. The tongues. The tongue for it. Yeah, it's cute. How are you supposed to even
What do you
do
think,
tongues?
Thomas? Do you really think the military alone is enough? Things have been very messy.
With this military and the military that's backing me.
Yeah, in her memory.
Okay. So what do we do with the Crocus?
Well, we send them a letter and put a seal on it. I'll deal with the seal.
Seal with a kiss.
No, I won't forge nothing. The person who wrote this letter gave me a seal that I could use.
Since when do you have this kind of authority?
I have to just ran into someone that owed me a favor. From
What's your passive insight?
14.
Throw me deception. It's not that you're lying, it's that there is something you're not saying, and he asked a pretty pointed question there.
Sorry.
Oh, it's only 10? Fuck it, forget it. You don't pick anything up to begin with, so it's fine.
Yeah, someone I knew owed me a favor, and you heard my plea, and you decided to side with us, that's all. And they just have a large backing, large following, and they know a few people.
Lux naturally doesn't believe
Have you
that that's
seen
it,
Lemon?
but...
Have
Ooh.
I seen Lemon?
I haven't seen him for a few days.
What is Lemon?
And as he asks this, you're like, oh yeah, Jasper's father.
Oh, that was his name?
Rutger, Lemon Rutger.
Oh.
And Bethany Rutger.
I was just Rutger.
You guys haven't, I mean, no one's asked of your services, and you've been away, so you actually missed your regularly scheduled training time with Jasper.
I noticed he was missing at the service.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I haven't seen him in a while either.
We need to find a way to stabilize this community. The mayor would seem to be a important figure. Perhaps we should go find him.
Yeah,
If he
probably.
is somewhere to be found. So we've not really decided what to do here. We've got the Crocus writ, and they'll undoubtedly be knocking on our door any moment. And you've apparently got the military at our back.
Yeah.
So we don't need them to control the military. We just need them to not,
Get in our way.
or start a civil war.
Now, as he's talking about this, I want to point out, Toma's going to remember that the fellow did mention they're trying to put people together, but they don't have people. They don't have people readily available. They're all over the place. They're on front lines. They're spread out thin. There's Cormyrians, but It's going to take time for them to muster the forces, and who's to say when anything could drop. And, yeah, that's, yeah. So that was a point that the guy made a mention of.
Did anyone have a guy in a cloak with a bowler hat come up and talk to them?
So I just wanted to quickly address this, by the way. We cut back to you guys.
Oh, we're not there?
No, but
Oh,
there's
okay.
you guys will be in a sec. I just want to say, it cuts back to you guys on the patio, and you guys are situated on the patio there. And I guess Baracus would be having some food to start out the day. But as you're situated there, and you're peaceably just having a smoke, and there's some old guy talking to you, but it's it doesn't really show what he's saying. We don't hear what he's saying to you or your conversation. It just slowly pans in on Baracus. Oh, for the love of Christ.
I think we need to find it.
Slowly pans in on Baracus as you're kind of just staring off into space. And you've got the staff nearby. I don't know, strapped to your back, or where do you have it? Hanging off your belt? Or...
Yeah, it's usually just sort of
Alright,
yeah,
perfect.
walking stick otherwise.
There's a brief flash of flames flying high, blasting around, the sound of burning, the sound of a scream, the sound of a child crying as the camera slowly pans in towards you, and it just shows you chewing, idly chewing your breakfast, slowly chewing, not moving, and it's just slowly panning in towards you, just crawling towards you. As we hear the crying sound, and there's a flash of a kid dangling from a chain, and then a voice.
This is what you want, is it? This is what you're after, but it's gone. Gone, all except this piece. This piece right here. Look at it.
And the figure of Jasper on the chain dangles from Tozuth's grasp as he holds it. Just this faint piece of a glimmer of a soul. And he holds it and...
Smells like a furnace.
And he drops it, and he watches the boy kind of falls into nothingness as it hits the black ground of nothing. And he explodes away. And flames growing hotter as you attune more strongly to the staff. And as this all occurs, and the camera pans slowly in upon your eye, suddenly the flick of the cigarette O'Shea's smoking goes past the frame as you stop chewing and look over towards her, and you don't really feel hungry anymore.
Push the food away and get up.
You look over towards him. Baracus seems done. Maybe you should go and see the folks.
Do they live in town?
Oh, no. These guys.
Okay.
About what
Sorry.
Mr. Holden was talking about.
That's what the bowler man's called. Okay.
Silas Holden.
Is it with an S or a C?
Is with a C. I mean, S. Silas. S. S-I-L-U-S.
Oh, yeah. I guess we're going to look at that. Yep. Very true.
It shows you guys in mid-conversation as you're making the statement about having a decision when there's a knock at the door as you guys arrive upon Descentera's shop. You hear footsteps inside for a moment as the window on the second floor opens up and Descentera's head pokes out. One of her horns drags the curtain out with it.
Okay.
Hello! Can we come in?
Yes.
Woo!
Looks, heads down the stairs. Snake, 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 snake. His leather snaking as he makes his way towards the door, unbarring it. You were closed for the day. Unbarring it, or no, sorry, you were closed for the meeting. Closed for the day. It's still mid-morning.
So I'm lazy, I'm just gonna mage hand open.
That's fine. You get to the stairs and mage handed onto the floor. There's a loud clatter.
Lift the bar and open the door. I really need to make a habit of using that more often.
Right?
Because it's awesome.
By the way, Eric,
Oh, okay.
it's my last paper.
If you want some papers, I never roll. I still have most of it. But
They don't help me now.
yeah,
I'm out of papers now.
true. But seriously, I don't bother.
If you can like
Give my-
bring me paper, that'd be great.
Information.
Yeah, mate, give me that mage hand, man. So, as we were,
I'm good, thank you.
Bibbles are good for it too. Race paper.
I've got paper from a sketchbook before.
okay, enough about the papers. What are you guys doing?
I'm walking downstairs and gonna try to fill them in on the happenings.
There's a montage as the camera does a 360 of you walking down the stairs, explaining
Does
things,
that include
talking
the
to them.
status of the Crocus Writ?
Oh no, not yet. That's still just me.
Okay. We need to find prestidigitation. Lemon symbol.
Fair.
Good pun there.
For no reason.
He sprouts out the sigil of the Lemon family,
No, just a lemon.
or the Rutger family. No,
No.
just a lemon. Okay. He
Straight
prestidigits fucking lemon into being, showing the yellow fruit some of you have never seen before in your lives.
It should totally be lemongrass.
This is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
My God.
We gotta find them there. I haven't seen them for days. We're gonna stabilize this situation. He's the leadership. The established leadership. Rid aside, we need to stabilize this situation. We can't have a civil war here.
Has anyone actually been back to the their residence? Because last time I went up there trying to find the doctor, they wouldn't let me in.
There ain't much left of it.
I don't know. They were guarding a big pile of rubble.
Garden.
Yeah. So I got approached by a strange man in an outfit and a very funny-looking hat. He wants to pay us to go back out and adventure for him.
I got another one that wants an escort
Oh.
out into the swamp.
Well,
Said it would be only a few hours, but I think we have to get things in order here first.
yeah. If we could coordinate it, we could do both at the same time.
Perhaps.
And what did he want us to do?
He wanted us to get rid of some of the monsters because there's so many, and the army can't really do it since most of them are dead.
Which is why that writ is no gold.
And then I guess Lesser Pickle wants to score that one anyway and pay us for it.
Yeah, who likes money?
Did you relay to them what you heard about the Cormyrean numbers?
So the Crimean army being spread out? Yeah. Let them know that Crimean army right now is spread out, but it'll be a day or two before they come back full force.
No, like a week or two.
Oh, we
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah. Before they can have a force in
Yeah.
Mallorin's Rest.
The Crocus people will be back in a day or two. So what are we going to do?
There's also
Hang
something
around?
going on with the supplies around here. Resources are thin.
As Lux says this, everyone kind of gawks at him, and shit. Who else is in? No, we don't have an NPC in here. Never mind, she's not in here. Everybody looks towards him, and all of you can think about is the potential for a war, and you specifically remember the bowler-hatted man say that you guys are looking at the potential brink of war with whatever the swamp is intending on doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a slight suggestion too that it's probably the Corpus people keeping your stocks from showing up. Just makes sense.
That's minor. But we need to
It's affecting their
consolidate.
business, right? So
Their business doesn't matter much if there isn't a town left.
Actually, it's not just her supplies either.
yeah.
The town itself has seen a beleaguerment of the mercantile effort for the fact that people are telling stories too. They're attacked on the roadways by fish people, by frog people. People are talking about how they had to run away from trolls. This is now day 7.
Okay, so this is after my. Okay. That's important.
Very important.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to kill shit to get.
Corpus want their right. They're willing to pay for it. They're willing to negotiate for it. But we need to keep both our. We need to keep the peace, and we need resources. We also need them not to stab us in the back. They're not happy. They're left with a situation of either embarrassment. We've got a resource that we can extort from them somewhat, but we still have to stabilize the situation. That writ is a resource in and of itself. It's also we could get a great deal of money ourselves, and also make it an ally if we work this correctly. We need both the military and the coordinator and the Crocus to defend this city.
Quick sort of side note, I guess. I guess it'd be the crocuses that would be the most knowledgeable of like people that are around and all that random crap, right?
The Crocus?
Yeah, like they'd be the family in the know in the area if I was looking.
They
for
are the
something
rich
specific.
family in the area.
So if I was looking for someone that
They're the plantation owner.
Yeah.
They're the oil baron. They're those guys.
Thorn won't.
As he says this, you guys look towards him. Thorn? What? Who's Thorn?
That was him that said it.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
They want their writ back.
They're never gonna get their writ back.
Embarrassingly, why? What possible reason do we need to extort and antagonize the only ally we have right now? The military's a mess.
Sorry, I just want to point out, you did strike a deal with this guy. He said he'll just work through you, if you recall. Cropus, didn't he? Because they need you, like during the meeting. I just want to remind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't say yes though,
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, just saying.
because they're coming back for my answer.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry, I'm gapping on it. My bad.
And when I burned the writ,
Yeah.
I'd still have the coin. Would I not?
It melted.
No, it wouldn't melt.
Totally gold. What's the flashpoint on
With
gold?
the
That's
flame? Just a flame?
on that parchment, thick sort of cottony stuff. I'm thinking.
Gold? Melting point of
2,000 Kelvin.
Yeah.
I don't
It's not that high.
No. Gold is not. Gold is a light metal, but it's still not. A
I would have just
typical.
have let it sit
Still
there. I would have like
1064
burnt
degrees
it and then
Celsius.
picked up the gold.
Yeah, there's no way in hell
Okay.
to burn paint.
It had- it-
burn that.
Jet fuel doesn't burn. No. It didn't melt all the way. It is scarred and distorted. Fuck it. You would have taken the fucking coin off it, I imagine. Yeah. If you want to keep the coin, you can keep the coin. It's not a big deal. We don't have to bandy about it. So yeah, you take the coin off the fucking parchment. You have the coin.
Give me coin.
Done.
Okay.
Think really. With that said, though, yeah, you burnt
and the are also
the thing, then you have the coin.
keeping an eye on things.
Your face is scaring me.
Things are complicated.
Things are fucking complicated.
Yeah, man, I'm having trouble tracking it all, man.
We don't. The military can't be relied upon in the short term. We've got the corpus and certain, let's say, unsavory elements that could potentially be leaned on if we can work the correct deal. This city is going to need every soldier, every sword arm it can get.
The deal was I go with them or I leave town.
The deal is we negotiate to return the writ in exchange for perhaps some gold and keeping some power where we need it.
I burnt the writ. The writ is gone.
Are you insane?
Responses.
Do you know what
Camera
happened
pans
there?
around the room to show everybody giggling at this.
And then I take the coin out and I'm flipping it.
Perhaps that'll be good. What a mess. We need to find Lemon. We need what little influence he has left.
Oh,
And we need to
search for him
stabilize
then.
this situation.
As you say this, the camera kind of pans sidelong against your face and shows the window in the background. And your face goes really dark as the camera adjusts to the light outside, and it shows in the distance the Rutger compound. You can just see it from the second floor of your shop. Camera pans against Toma, then over to Julia.
I'm gonna just sneak out the back while they're arguing, and I'm gonna go round up some soldiers using my medal that I got from.
Okay. Throw me persuasion. You can do so at advantage.
24.
That's 24. Alright.
That is persuading.
Very convincing. Can't say
So what are you
no.
pulling him in for? What's the service? What's the duty?
To guard the shop.
You managed to get 2 guys together. Just 2. Guy, there's 10 militia left after the battle.
Alright.
The Cropus. I want to illustrate something.
Tell me they're big guys.
The Cropus have soldiers. That's literally what it is. Is Rutger has 4 people left. The Rutger household had 24. They're pretty much all gone. Like 20 of their people died in that. And the Cropus lost numbers too, but they've already replenished with new soldiers. They had however many dudes show up with Fonzie when he first arrived, and since then, now days later, still more have come in, and so they've got upwards of about 30 odd people, and more on the way. But that said, though, there was a little something that occurred, a little conversation that occurred, and despite this, people are still coming in. But then days have passed.
Days passed. But Thorn
No, you met with him on the 3rd day.
6th.
6th? Was it 6th? Oh, it was 6th with you. Okay, never mind. It's been a day. It's been technically 2 weeks.
But that's still more bodies. So he's not preparing for the negotiation or discussion. They were supposed to let the soldiers in town. I wanted him to limit the soldiers so that we could have proper negotiation and not be sworn. But that writ is still an embarrassment if it's only a coin. We've lost some power here. We've lost some influence, and they are not going to wait.
I'm gonna go to the Crocus house and have a talk with them.
It shows
I'm
Toma
going to try and find Lemon.
excuse himself and walk out.
Where are you going?
I'll be back. I gotta go see some things.
His voice and heavy boot falls echo from the hall as he exits the building, leaving O'Shea, Baracus, Dysentera, and Lux situated in the 2nd floor of her shop. Lux looks out the window at Rutger's compound.
How big is the town itself?
It's
Like,
straight across, I'd say about 2 miles.
2 miles? Okay, so it's still...
It's spread out,
Okay.
but it's got like a grouping of stuff over here, a little one in the middle, and then one at the far end.
Alright, well, I'm gonna take my owl. Is it dark, or what's the...
It's about it's about noonish, close
I'm
off to
gonna
it.
try and find Lemon Rutger.
You look over towards the compound and exit the frame.
Maybe we'll notice that.
The camera kind of squares off against the room, showing the three of you as Lux passes between you all and heads out the door that Toma left through a moment ago.
I'm gonna start packing up all the things I can in bags.
Like how
In the
packing?
shop.
Like
In the shop.
just packing to leave?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm shoving everything in bags.
The camera pans against Desertera as Mr. Puddlestein jumps up onto the nearby table, and you look down towards the table where Puddlestein's situated, and the camera kind of like lifts up to show your ledger that you were doing inventory with. And as you stare upon it, Puddlestein looks up towards you, looks down at the ledger, and then looks back towards you and just gives it. And then he nestles down on it actually, like sits on it. Camera pans against to show you guys in the room as you see this. Baracus sights upon everything happening and just thinks about what went on between him and the devil demon that has possessed his staff. And there's a moment that cuts away, and a bright flash of flame, and a thunderous echo. It's right here. This is where it was found, and you see a flash of a young boy walking into the memory that's flickering there. And he walks in towards this clubhouse, and you see something spelled on the sign. It starts with a G. Not allowed. The boys walk in towards it, and it shows, as the boy walks in, he suddenly stops, and he melts away. And the ground suddenly shakes, and Tozuth's voice again echoes gravelly against the background, against your mind, as he says, "It's right here." And the ground shakes further and suddenly erupts, and all the dirt lifts up and powders around and blasts away, and a hole is revealed. And you suddenly start to just go down the hole. It's right here. Sorry, I should say also the clubhouse kind of just explodes away, and you see inside like the bodies of the boys vaporized and their bones explode in all directions. Gore and dirt and plant matter mix and blast apart in a massive whirlwind, revealing this hole that you begin descending down into darkness.
Because we had that meeting where you talked to the older boy, right? Cletus or Silas or whatever his name is.
You should just call him like the wrong name
Yeah.
on purpose every time.
So look at her and go, I think I know where Silas wants us to go to end everything. Or to kill this stuff. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, just have visions of stuff, and I think that if we go to where the kids we first found, where Jasper and them were first killed and grabbed and stuff, I think we might be able to find out what's going on there.
Okay, but I don't think that's related to the Willard Pat guy.
As you say this, you get a moment of frustration that blasts up within you, and you... And fuck this bitch. I'm fucking gonna go there. That's the place to fucking be. Gonna fucking get there. No! Gonna do it. Go! Go!
Jesus.
In that tone, I'm gonna say to you, well, he was gonna hire us to go out and kill the head of the fucking shit in the goddamn swamp, and that's where it's all gonna be.
Oh, God.
He starts to kind of vibrate. You haven't seen him like this in a while.
Fucking calm down, man.
Coming out of you, like the way it is. He gets like this sometimes, a little bit of
Calm your
sweat beating
tits.
against his brow.
Clam 'em.
As his horns, they seem to almost resonate and shiver like a giant tuning fork of rage.
And yeah, after saying that, I turn around, like, kind of go into a little. I'll say a little corner, or there's a table or something,
Like
just so I
stomp
can.
away angrily.
Of course.
Okay.
And
As
I'll-
he does so, though, you begin to swoon. Throw me Constitution. As Tozuth's influence wanes on you, you manage to keep your consciousness, having to steady yourself all the same.
Okay.
As Tozuth's inner strength and rage quells, leaving you drained, you manage to recover and hold yourself steady. And for the moment that you black out, you sight upon a giant altar, and your hands placing the staff upon it, and a giant beam of strange dark light erupting, heading vertically upwards.
Okay, your name's hilarious.
Cool. I will pose the question real quick to Tozuth. Is the child, like, do you not need the child? Of course, it's under my breath, and you not need the child.
This happened during your week of communicating with him.
Okay.
And he's like, no, I have a piece of him, and I don't give a shit about it.
Okay.
Get him out of here.
Oh, okay. Then it would be like, yeah, well, how do we get him? Get rid
Go
of
to
him for-
Avernus and get him.
So that's where he's saying it all started.
3 months?
3 months.
Where it all started?
Go to Avernus, you said?
Yeah, Avernus. First level of hell.
Oh, okay.
That is where you will find Morgans.
At least I can tell Leander where he is now.
So,
Camera pans over the city to show Toma walking through the city streets. Pans against Descentera moving bottles and bric-a-brac. Puddlestein jumping into boxes open and out of boxes open as Descentera takes a moment and almost drops one of the jars, then recovers it, and then the other one falls out of the other side, and then she stares at it, a little bit of a tear trickling to fall next to it. The owl flaps in the window as Lux is shown walking along the city streets as well,
yeah.
heading towards Rutgers Manor. And as he arrives upon the unkempt landscape, you see a...
I'll bring the owl, so
That's fair enough. You see a rather desolate-looking manor house. Your owl comes fluttering in, having sailed along over the horizon of the city, of the village. As it flutters in overhead the doorway and you head towards said doorway, it ogles upon you and you watch as nothing moves all around. In the distance, the clamoring of the townsfolk echoes, reminding you of how alone this place seems to be right now.
a lot of empty rooms.
Heading inside, there's a sparrow that actually flutters past you and flies out of the room, out of the household, and off into the sky. A few bird droppings can be seen on the floor. As you make your way forward through into the place, you see bits of clothing littered about. You see foodstuffs, and a smell strikes you. Place is
Signs they've
musty.
been here in the last day or two.
The place looks very, very lived in
Okay.
and not cleaned at all.
Well, it was practically destroyed a few days ago, so...
That said, as you come into the main area there, you can see a figure nestled slack in the corner. Legless. Missing one leg and slumped. You see next to him a noose hanging from the open rafters. Camera pans down low against you as you walk amongst the wrecked refuse that is the remains of his home. His face lolls towards you, lazily, tired, and gaunt. He doesn't say a word. He just stares.
This town needs its leader.
He leans forward and just stares at your boots and lets his eyes slowly crawl up you. And he looks around. He looks at the whole of his house. And then he just leans back. What of what I need? What of what I need?
I know you've lost a great deal. But this town will be gone in days without some leadership, without some people, without a little luck.
He sits
You
up
truly want to die here.
and he gets up and he walks around the room for a moment.
Cut down the noose.
As you walk over towards it and cut it down, he doesn't react to this. He just stares out the window that he stops at. And he looks back towards you and he says, "If I had wanted to die, I'd have already been dead." Oh, sorry. As he gets up, he actually fumbles around and he pulls a crutch out that he gets under himself. And he, you can see it's got this weird mechanical sort of apparatus to it that he kind of pushes down upon it. It like extends out, letting him get up easily.
That's cool.
And as he stands up and he makes his way around, it has this in this very specific as the springs inside are clamping and the metal's clacking together. As he makes his way around, hobbling towards the window and stares out of it, he looks back and says, "If I had wanted to be dead, I would be. But what is it worth, Lux? What is it worth? Everything I loved is gone. Everything." Then he adjusts himself. Everything and then some. Pieces of me gone in the most literal fashion.
So you just let this town and the corpus's greed destroy what's left of it.
I have nothing to offer this town, Lux. What am I to be? A figurehead? I have no men at my disposal. I have the few that may seek refuge. Should they be accosted themselves. As you look at him standing there in the light, you start to see the sweat on his brow. You can see the clammy skin. He's contracted some sort of illness. He's not doing well.
You need medical care,
I need nothing.
so you just wait to die.
He gives a nod and he says, I have no fight left in me. But there's no sense in me taking what little I have left for myself. I'll wait it out. And he looks towards you. What of it? What do you hope to accomplish?
We need to unite. We need to fight against the swamps where we will die.
Yes! Listen to this! Ha ha! The rousing cry of a militiaman! Ha! Aye. And he hobbles a little bit, stumbling as he do. He attempts to recover, just barely manages as he stumbles into the wall. Ugh. Go tell it to the men with the broken legs and arms. The ones who suffered the spears. Go tell it to Bethany. Go tell it to my son.
They
And he makes
died
his way,
heroes.
chuffing as he do.
They died heroes.
He doesn't
You
answer
give
this.
up. This town's dead.
He looks back as he makes his way across and stops where he is, and he slowly tries to bend down and has to slide the crutch out slightly so that he can get down to a piece of portraiture, and it's just this ripped piece of a canvas that has a chunk of Jasper's face on it. And it's burnt around the edge, and a lot of the paint is a little bit fucked up on it. So he holds it tattered. It's a big, foot-sized chunk of it. It's like a massive canvas you can see as he's holding it, and he stares at it. And he just breaks. The camera just kind of pulls back on the scene. He's standing there in the midst of this busted up place. And as he's coughing and ugly crying over this piece of whatever he had, camera pans against your back finally. Like you're just pulling back slowly, and he's just sitting there, and tears are streaming off of his face as he's surrounded by all this destruction. Still a week later, as he's dying, and that stops with you square about half of the frame, off to the one side.
You want the Crocus, worse the Brotherhood, to own this town?
He lets go, or he actually just
care
drops.
About Dicentra, and I'm assuming I know the name of other like shopkeepers and notable
Sure,
people
yeah,
in town.
absolutely. Make him up, by all
That
means.
are, but Wilkins, your name meant something here. You were the leader of this town.
Throw persuasion.
Nat 15, getting the number.
You seem to be slowly getting through to him, but then he looks at you and says, "Do you offer solutions? Do you offer solutions at all? Do you offer anything?"
Help me get the Crocus to work with us.
He simply rolls his eyes and says, "Tell me how. Enough dramatics. Come up with a plan. Bring it to me. Like I said, I'll be here." And he stumbles off. "Unless the gods take me to see Bethany."
Some influence on them.
He stops and looks back towards you. "What influence do you think I have? What influence do you need?"
The people need a symbol. They need to see you, that you're still here. It doesn't matter how well you can wield a sword right now. They need to know they have a leader. It's the only way we will unite this town.
3 persuasion.
Okay. The first one, by the way, was 18. The second one is 7.
Well, the first one was good. So he rolls a 15 plus for his first one, but then he rolls a 4 on his second one. So you just barely beat him on both, which is hysterical, actually. You rolled 18 plus bonus, or 18 total?
18 total on the first.
You beat
and
him.
7 on the
You beat
second.
him by 1 on both of them. Then that's funny. So perfect. No, by 2 on the second. He gives a nod at this, and he chuffs in towards you, and he says, "Whatever you say, just come back at me with whatever you need, and we'll go from there."
The first step is to make sure that you're alive in a day.
Right, I'll
You
head
need
down to
get
the
you some
cleric.
medical care.
I'll head to the hospitalier. And he,
Do you need a hand getting there?
I've got it. He stumbles out the way. The scene crossfades from there.
I head back to Dyson.
And I'm gonna get the one,
On with the next solo scene.
right? It's a lot of them. It opens up on you arriving at the gates of the compound, which are closed. They used to be open when Hiron was here, but now that Fonzie's in charge, he keeps them shut. Coming towards the place, there's a single guard who looks over towards you as you arrive. Your massive form coming into frame. He looks up towards you as you stop in front of him and he says, "Can I help you?"
I came here to speak to the owner here, or the head of the house.
On sick.
To which he gives a nod and he says, "Do you have business then?"
Pull out my father's military symbol.
And he looks upon it. "I don't know what that is, but it seems important."
Just tell him that the backers of his family has come knocking.
And he kind of like raises an eyebrow at this, curl of the mouth as he gives a smirk of sorts, and he's, "Of course." And he looks back towards the gate and taps on it with his spear, and you see a page come rushing towards Tell the master we've got something of interest at the front gate. He's taking company. The page gives a nod and rushes off towards the manor. It's a moment later that he comes back, and during this time you actually see in the distance a figure come out on one of the balconies. A figure rather stoic and vertical in its walk, as it comes out onto the balcony and looks towards you, and gives a wipe of its nose. As the page comes forth and says something in a hushed tone, you what's your passive perception? The guard starts to open up the gate soon after the boy says, "You can let him in."
The boy?
Opening the page.
Oh.
The gate opens up, letting you inside. You find yourself escorted by the guard to about the halfway mark, at which point you're handed off to another guard that meets up. You're taken the rest of the way. But much to your surprise, as you're headed towards the front doorway, you hear somebody's voice shout out, "Bring him through the back! It's fine!" And so you're led suddenly to the side, towards that balcony area where there's a set of stairs nestled in, leading up into the manor. Following along these, it's a moment later that you're led through some narrow halls in a rather robust-looking wooden hallway. Your heavy footfalls echo deadedly, if you will, around the small space covered in tapestries and parchments and portraits. As you pass by yellow light filtering curtains upon large, narrow windows, you're summarily brought to the other end of that hallway, where it opens up onto "Welcome to the veranda," as Fonzie gestures towards the village in the distance, just beyond the walls of his compound. "What a shithole," he says as he peers back towards you. "It stinks here, doesn't it?"
It's got a bit of a smell, yes. Someone with your fine palate probably has a hard time keeping a straight nose here.
Despise it here. What do you want?
I come here to talk business.
Indeed.
I pull out my father's family stuff,
Ah!
and then I pull out my own amulet
He looks towards that.
to show the royalty of my blood.
Yes, of course. And he picks up the seal, and he looks towards it. Interesting. He puts that. What do you want?
Hey, I just came here to make a deal. I need you and your army to work for me in Dyson Terrace shop.
My army.
Yes, your army.
My army.
Your
You
military.
do realize what an army is. I certainly don't have an army here.
Well, your military force.
Now,
I need you to gather them.
I want to point out, he seems really excited to be talking to you for some reason, as he's like, he's pretty tall himself, but you're still outdoing him by a foot. And he's looking up at you, and every so often his eyes like glint back and forth against your pauldrons and everything and he'll be like looking at one and checking his hair in your shoulder pauldron, doing this sort of thing, just watching every so often. As this all occurs, he suddenly protrudes like a little, or produces a little canister or something and pours something like a green dust that has little white speckles in it out on his wrist, and
Helps clear the nose, doesn't it?
you were saying.
Yeah, I came to work a deal with you.
Please, have a seat. And he gestures towards a table that has a bunch of dainty little chairs around it. And you see as he gets himself situated, and he...
My royal military upbringing. I sit down very nicely as well.
throw me dexterity. As you sit down upon this dainty-ass fucking chair, doing your best to situate yourself in a fashion that doesn't break through it.
Please.
Expertly.
20 math.
Expertly, do you sort of like fake sit upon this tiny little chair? Good. Sort of supporting your weight as you feel it like bending underneath you. You slowly descending down upon it, and eventually it stops bending.
So, back to business.
Tea?
Sure.
I do so love myself a good tea.
Let's have some tea.
As you were saying.
Well, we came to talk business. I help operate and own a shop in town and sell some supplies, but their supplies haven't been coming in, and we need a little extra help going out into the swamp here. So I've heard rumors that the monsters of the swamp have been coming forth.
I see one difficulty in your plan.
And what's that?
We don't have an army.
I just need a few extra men, and for you to give me a writ saying that this entire shop is in your debt.
I'm sorry, you wish Dysenterra's shop to be in my debt?
Reverse.
But Dysenterra's shop is not in our debt.
I really said that word that
I
wrong.
want you to be in debt of Dysenterra's
Yes, that.
shop. Sorry.
Ah, you wish us to be in the service to Dysenterra's
Yes,
shop?
yes.
Yes, of course. As the server brings out a tray with 2 cups upon it and a teapot and lowers it down with a clatter on the table, he leans in forth and he says, "Do you know, this is Hershinged tea," and you can already smell cocoa, this chocolatey scent wafting off it. Would you care for some? And he pours himself a cup of this, and it's kind of like, it's a light fluid that comes out. It's not like syrupy or anything like that.
Sure, I'll have a cup.
He finishes pouring his own, or he finishes pouring the cup and puts it towards you, and then pours his own. And then as he puts it down, and he leans back, he smells it in. I love this tea, for it clears the palate of this rotted stench, the must and this. And he takes another deep, sort of fucking air is free breath of it, letting it just fill his nostrils, and then you know what I mean? Yeah, totally. And then leans in towards you and says, "Do you know why we have such a fine tea?
And why's that?
Because we are so good at what we do.
And what is it that you do?
Trade, my good man.
Well,
And
that's what I
so
was
much
hoping for.
trade."
Oh, I've heard this.
And he slurps loudly at the cup for a moment. And letting the chocolate just like, you can see it caked on his teeth and shit. And he puts the cup down. And so, it is such that I say to you, we have already offered a trade to Miss Dysenterra.
And what was your trade?
We offered her an equal part in the business, as a matter of fact. For the support of our military. At her back. At her behest. Now, I am due to return for her response. Do you represent her interests? Are you saying yes to my offer?
No. I'm here on my family's behalf.
I see. And he leans in and takes another slurp of his tea, and he lets it savor in his mouth, and he looks towards you. And he gulps it down. I'd say we're of the same mind, then.
I think you should work for me.
And he puts down the teacup, and he says, I disagree. I think semantics are no longer a point of interest to either party. At least either party that has an interest. Because if I'm not mistaken, despite all of your clamor, all of your nobility, dare I guess that you have no interest whatsoever. You're just here, like me, bored and noble.
I have an interest in the swamp.
Yes, I'm certain you do. Escapism.
That's why I say you should work for me. I'll have my family pay you to not be here.
These sorts of games have no interest to me whatsoever. No, I will not be working for you. No, the Crocus family will not bend to the little shop of horrors. No, good sir, my good sir. No. The Draith Seed is not to be our caretaker. I should think, he doesn't have a beard, but I should think that a partnership could be agreed upon with your family. Do you represent your family?
Yes.
Not according to that badge. According to that badge, you are a soldier. So maybe you should get the general.
Yes, I am a soldier for my father at this point.
Then
I
you can
still
get your
represent-
father
but I
to
still
speak for
represent-
you on these
I
matters.
still represent my father as he's busy.
Our family will not bend to yours, but we offer an equal pittance to your shopkeeper friend, who, if I'm not mistaken, is functioning off of your family's rent.
Maybe, maybe not.
He just kind of blinks at this response and then takes a sip of his tea. The camera pans low against you guys for a moment as he takes the pot and fills his cup a second time and puts it down, the steam rising off of it. And he takes a sip of the tea again and puts it down and says, Dysentera is more than welcome to accept our offer to her benefit. Should you not wish to accept it, I'll tell you the same that I told her. And perhaps this time it will get through. We don't have to protect this town at all. And we're the only ones who can. But if we were to do as your own friend wanted, we could just leave. I could go back to Cezale. I could enjoy myself some whores from Marsembar.
Well, why don't you leave?
Because I, unlike you, support my family. And he reaches down and grabs the teacup and takes a slurp of it, puts it back down. I'm not running away to foreign lands. He stares
You
away.
not just run to a foreign land to a smelly
I was
swamp?
assigned to a corner of my home nation. I'll have you know. He kind of leans in towards you and looks down towards your tea. You haven't even touched it.
If I touch it, that would mean we have a deal. We have no deal. And I get up and I leave.
Fair enough. As you walk out of frame, your reflection leaving from the teacup in kind of like a reverse T-Rex scene from Jurassic Park, where the vibrations slowly get lighter and lighter. A moment later, you hear the voice simply echo, "A waste of perfectly good tea." And crossfades from there. Fades up. That guy is Fonzie Cropus.
See, I told you, Crumpy.
No, you said Grumpy.
Skin from you, skin.
And you have a
Fonzie
thorn
Crocus.
that I met with?
It's the same dude.
Oh,
Yeah. You knew him as Mr. Thorne when you did jobs.
oh, that explains why you reacted to that in a certain way.
Yeah.
Okay, that was not good.
With that said, back at your shop, shows you putting shit together. You got most of the place pretty organized. I mean, you run a pretty tight ship. So it's giving you a nice opportunity to cut the fat too. There was all this bric-a-brac that you weren't sure if you really wanted. Just kind of made the choice. You're like, nope, don't need it. So you find yourself traveling on about a cartload. I want to say about that because it's kind of heaped high, but it's all your shit. So you literally have it packed and ready to go. Your shop happens to have a bit of a loading bay at the back, where typically you just have like old barrels and shit, but you cleared all that out. You've spent pretty much all day on this, with little to no help, but largely taken care of. All the same, there's a little pile of shit off outside of your shop. So that said, though, the cart. We'll say you just had the cart for however long it came with the building. And you just need a horse. You had a horse, also came with the building, died a year ago.
God, yeah. Is he back yet?
By the time we get to here, yeah. It's about evening. They collectively get back about half an hour ago.
The hell are you going?
Yeah, where are you going?
I'm gonna help her start packing.
I'm fucking other shit.
Whatever.
Hey, hello.
Sorry?
I'm leaving, yeah. I'm up and leaving. I don't know what else to do.
Oh. Go then.
This town needs leaders, and we've got more influence than anyone if we work things correctly.
Did you find Lemon?
He'll live, and with any luck, he'll at least be something of a symbol of this town.
At this point, I just interjected. If you want to save this town, we gotta go back to where it all started.
Like the
A Snickers, perhaps?
You're not here when you're hungry.
like Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden, or something.
Where all this crap started, where the kids disappeared and...
Oh, back in the swamp.
Yeah.
Well, Summer does want to go.
Can I have the key to your shop?
No!
Yeah. We gotta go back.
Okay, so
And of course, yeah. Just... Hey, I'm agitated. I want to get out there.
okay.
Let's go!
I thought you wouldn't be as agitated by spending enough time with your staff there. I thought I was supposed to make you less agitated.
He likes playing with his staff.
Don't talk about his locker.
That's the battle axe.
No, we're talking about your stuff.
But yeah, I keep making that point. Just... We gotta go.
Why would you get out of here? Why now? You really think this town... If we can inspire the people, marshal our forces, we can defend this town.
With the Crocus?
Do you have a better plan?
Other than, like, fucking off.
I'm off into the swamp.
It was just a
What,
long
finally,
road.
Amber?
Hey,
Give up?
Sorry.
Give up this town? Give up everything?
it's all acting.
Give up all these good people? I'm
Do you
gonna
have
attempt
papers?
to persuade her.
Do you have papers?
No, but I have this.
No, it's all right.
Do you go to...
Actually, I do. Come to think of it. I do have yeah, my sister got me one from Mexico.
We've done a great deal to try to save this town. Let's make sure it doesn't fall.
So what's the plan is the question. You're offering up like
You
a
want to
plan
move
here,
on
right?
again?
If you want to save this town, we have to go back to the pit.
What? Back up on the mountain with the trolls?
No, where the kids disappeared, where we first had to go find Jasper.
Oh, that
That's
first.
where all that
The
happened.
tower?
The girls were the
Even before that, where is
Where we actually found Jasper?
died.
Yeah.
yeah, where the brothers died, where they all were all taken away.
Well, that's maybe a
When they
day
were
away.
Yeah, that's where it all started. That's where we're gonna finish it.
Yes.
Rah,
Yes.
rah, rah, rah,
Yes.
rah.
Yes. Nothing.
For now.
Why do you believe that would make any difference?
That's how it all started. That's where the staff was. That's where the
Well, the staff was at the tower where we found
Yes, but
Jasper.
that's where they had to get the kids from somewhere.
And if the forces of the
Let's check it
swamp attack while we're gone,
We'll be cutting the head of the serpent. That's
what
where.
are you expecting to find there? It's a dead cabin.
That they were taken there. They were grabbed by the Croatoans who had this
We
power.
found a
We
couple
wanted
of
to end
bodies.
it. Yeah, and we want to end the threat. We got to go find the.
What possible reason would there be
Faithless
anything
fool,
there?
interrupting your destiny.
What
They
possible?
cannot be tolerated.
They got the staff from somewhere. From there. That's our best bet is to go back and find it and cut the head off the snake.
Who's
Yeah, just
gonna
cut
do
the head
that?
off the snake. The snake in front of you, the leathery snake. Just cut this head right off him.
We're getting hired by Bowler Hat to go out into the...
Bowler hat?
Yeah, you were there when she talked about the guy with the bowler hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, him.
I was mocking the name thing.
Yeah, well, I can't remember his name.
Oh.
Syphilis or whatever. He wants us to go out into the swamp, and our best bet
that
is
is
to go
literally
back to
my
where
character.
everything started. So let's go. Let's go back to there, and from there...
What possible reason do we have to expect to find anything there?
That's where it all began. That's where the Croatoans
And there's
stood.
2 bodies and a dead and a cabin.
And that's where the staff presumably was picked up, because that's where the Croatoans were, in the same area.
And the staff is with you now, so why would we expect to find anything there? What possible reason would we go there?
That's where... Really?
Well, I'm not staying here.
We've been hired to go
The
out.
wagon's packed.
I'm gonna go steal some better armor. Can I go steal some better armor? I mean, the town's in shambles, so I'm gonna go.
Just for the record, you've looked for better armor in this place dozens of times. This is like
Alright.
this has just been what you've been looking for. Like anytime somebody comes through, who's a metal worker of any fashion, this is like the first thing you're hoping, and every fucking time you're disappointed. There was one guy who had a suit of plate mail. You're like, yeah, plate mail, and it was all ceremonial. And then you went to open the visor, and it was like kind of kinked. It's like, oh, okay. And then he tried to like use the gauntlet, and the straps broke off, and it was just all bad. He's like, I'm just learning.
What happened to the Crocus? Can we rely on them to at least defend this town while we're gone?
Yeah, they can defend it.
Will they?
Most likely.
Do you want to try and persuade me?
Do it, do it, do it.
23.
Okay. Man, how do you always roll good?
Good dice.
Paladin.
No, like he just... it's so rare that you get like a sub 10 roll. It's comical.
So what's the plan here, folks?
Alright. We'll go. We'll hope the Crocus...
Baracus says.
Well, I mean, it only makes most sense. Yes.
Lemon will be alive at least. Hopefully he
Tell him to
gets
watch
his
the-
spine back.
Tell him to watch town.
Watch town.
He's a one-legged symbol at best. We can't...
Better than nothing. Now hurry up, let's go.
Gray Fox was a one-legged symbol.
Oh,
So-
yes.
O'Shea, you've seen this side of Baracus before. This passionate side of Baracus before. You're not sure if it's positive or not. Usually isn't. Throw that out there.
Burn down your
Throw that. Yeah. The last time you dealt with this, and he promised it would never happen again. That was because the tavern got
Good
burned.
enough. Let's
Someone
talk,
hit me
let's
first.
talk to
though,
Summer,
that's all
though, and
that
see
was.
what she needs out there. Let's get some more information there.
All right.
I storm out.
So what's going on otherwise? Are you leaving your shit
No, I'm taking the cart.
to the place?
I don't think there was, like, a road to there.
Not well. There's a service road. There totally is. Actually, remember these guys were working, and the swamp was getting pushed back. So the service road you guys were following actually goes all the way up through to
Old
I think
Axe?
Sword Rest is what it's called.
Old Axe.
No, Old Axe is off to the east.
Oh, sorry.
Sword Rest, I believe, is up north through here. No, Three Trees. No, Swords Hollow. Swords Hollow is the first place, and then Three Trees is north of that.
Okay.
Then Nika's Rest, and so forth. Point being, though.
Okay. If you're dead set on hauling your shop with you,
So the kids
Fucking dead set on it.
I will say it is kind of risky to just take your whole haul, the whole of everything, and drag it out into the wild.
Couldn't you just, like, put your
that's
little
that if
trailer
we're
in
going
your
to the Crocus
shop and have it ready to go, and you get a
horse.
horse and just, like, put it outside, and then if
The
you need
Crocus
to...
are coming back the next day.
I
They're just gonna
guess.
fucking loot
Steal
it
your shit?
anyway.
Not necessarily. The
Might I
Crobus don't
ask
necessarily
for a
give a shit
moment?
that way. They're not heathens.
Yeah, might I interject just for and be meta for a moment? Like, out again. They're wanting you to do exactly what we're going to do anyway.
They want the writ. Tell them we've got it with us. Simple as
Right.
that. They won't touch the shop if they think that we've got it with
That
us.
sounds like good
Because
luck.
their whole thing is to collect the stuff in the swamps and stuff, and we're going out to make the swamp safer. So everything that they're wanting you to do, we're doing anyway. So there's no need
So
to actually
I
leave.
should stay at the shop?
Might as well.
For now.
Just because even during the conversation, again, sorry, I might have whatever, but Propus said to Thomas, "Oh, so our goals are the same thing. You just want us to bend the knee to the shop, but we don't want to bend the knee to the shop." And that's the only real difference between what we're doing anyways and what the Propus were wanting.
And
just
they
don't
still
be-
want their writ back. They want
Well,
to
even
avoid that
Rit,
embarrassment.
he had said we could work through you the first time he visited. So yeah, the only
That wasn't the first conversation.
Or alternatively, you could go with your plan, return the writ to them, and have them reduce the forces down to 10.
We're not yet.
Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that was
Anyway.
a different perception.
so yeah, just
The situation's complicated.
It is.
Do you do what Bowler Hat Man wanted, specifically?
Oh.
Do you do what the Cropus guys want? Are they one and the same?
Do we do it summer once for reasons?
Which might very well be the same thing for all you know.
We really should figure that out.
It sounds like we're all going to the same place,
Yeah.
so we
For
could,
different interests.
like triple dip in pay.
Whoa.
'Cause
O'Shea
Summer
suddenly
wants
has a
something.
realization.
I
I don't think summer is so green as she would appear.
Why wouldn't you want to help a lady?
Okay, so what do you want to do to the
I
cart?
suspect she's trained well.
You've got a cart more or less loaded.
Well,
It's
you're
sitting
trained
in the
very
bay
well.
of your
can
shop.
just,
You
if
just
does
close the
anything
doors
wrong.
on it. It's still safe in there. You don't have a horse to worry about.
She might be with the brother.
I guess if I don't have a horse, how on earth am I going to move it?
I mean, you can go and buy one easily enough.
You did just sell like 128 gold of product.
Yes, I
A horse is not unattainable.
For the record, I forgot to mention. She. Oh no, I did mention she pays you in gold there, eh? It was real gold. Yeah. We did cover that. Did we cover that?
you said the dragon on it wasn't the typical Cormyrean dragon.
No, that was her seal.
Oh.
That was later on. When you were paid.
No, it was the 2 coins she brought out originally, which was weird because it didn't add up at all. But I was kind of
Okay, I was gonna say because she pays with 7 platinum. Anyway, that was an important note from earlier that I totally gapped on. So sorry. Anyway, moving along. Where are we? Let's get back to this.
I think we're what? What are we doing?
So as you stare upon the cart,
Yes, we should pick Summer up. Watch her closely. You should stay close to her because you're pretty quick on the knives.
Yeah, I'll be watching my back around summer.
okay. So you're gonna go looking for her.
Yes.
All right, throw me investigation real quick.
Well, first off, we know where we expect her to be. Initially, I guess. 6. Why do I keep closing this? Investigation. 8.
Okay. Seeking around town for a little while, you don't find her, and you have a tough time finding anybody that has heard of her. The tavern folk aren't too helpful for the most part. Everyone just kind of gives you the shrug or says, "No, I haven't seen your wife, man."
Whatever. It's of little importance. There's no point wasting time on this.
So you spend about an hour doing this. What do you guys do during this time?
cursing all down.
So you're not looking for a horse anymore?
Did you want to go get a horse right now?
Are
Or do you want to
we
wait?
bringing the stuff?
Well, I mean, if we're not gonna take it, I guess
It's your call. It's your
The
stuff.
camera pans against the front facade as Dysentera stares at her cart. Toma walks into frame there. O'Shea just off to the side. Baracus nearby, fondling the staff head.
We know that the corporate people are coming back at some point, right?
The Gropus folk are due to be coming back, yeah.
Like, yeah, did you mention it to us? I'm just trying to.
yeah.
So they're
a few
okay.
times.
Because I was going to say when they come back, though. I want somebody to take me out there. But I have to wait till they show up.
Truth.
Yeah. But yeah.
But to that point, I was going to say, almost as though the choice is being made for you, you do hear a voice. Pardon me. And as the camera kind of swivels around to show your shodden face as you're looking upon your shop, still trying to decide what the fuck to do. And it shows the page just off to the side, and he looks up towards you, and you can see he's got the little Cropus crest, and he pulls out a scroll and he holds it forth. Dysentera?
I take it and read it.
He waits nearby. He doesn't have like a hand outstretched. He just waits as you unfurl it. And the letter says, "Do we have an accord? When shall we meet? My place, anytime." It says. Well, pretty much one sentence actually. That sounded a little more kinky than I intended. Sorry. Anyway, so the page just sits there. I was instructed to ask for a time.
Now.
The camera pans against your face as your lips simply utter that word, and then it pans to the side to show you guys in the background, and Lux nearby, coming into frame once again, having not successfully found. Hey?
For that 1 hour, I went back to the inn, grabbed a couple things, and then came back.
Okay, shows Lux, and then a moment later it shows O'Shea walk into frame as well.
What's going on?
The camera pans behind the page as you start walking past the page, and the page nods and walks in behind you, and it shows you standing there next to the rest as I'm assuming you guys follow it. Crossfades to show you guys approaching the Cropus compound. You guys get there, the guard looks upon you, and as you're approaching, actually, in the page in tow, Trundle's a little bit ahead, and he gives the wave, and the guard opens up the gate. It shows a montage of you guys ascending inside, but you guys go in through the front doorway this time, and head into the grand hall of the Cropus Manor, are shown into the reading room. You can see holes in the walls where the recent attack is being patched up. And there stands Fonzie Cropus as he turns around, and it's like this quasi-desaturated sort of scene as you walk into this place. And he turns around and he's got like a slow-mo flourish and that smile on his face as he looks towards you. And as the camera pans against your face, what's the expression on Dysentera's face?
Inquisitive.
He gives a nod and walks in towards the table, and the camera pans down low to show the length of the table. And it's just this long shot of the table, and you're at the one end, and shows you come in on the other side, or he's on the one side, and shows you come in on the other side at the far end. Then shows Thomas step in next to you, and then shows O'Shea, and then Baracus, and finally looks, Schneik, as he stands there in all leathers. And Cropus simply says, "So." And he holds out a hand.
Fuck! Guys, why am I always the one that has to make these big decisions? I'm so bad at it.
And he just leans further in, knowing what you're there for already. And as you shake upon it in one good shot, he gives a nod. He says, "Tea then!" And the camera pans backwards to show a page step into frame and clatter down the tray. And he says, "Do you know why we have Hershinkt tea? Do you know what Hershinkt is?" And you say, "Yeah, you know what Hershinkt is. It's chocolate fungus from the Underdark." And you look over towards the pot, and as the smell hits you, you can tell he's added sugar. Pussy. The camera fades to black. And I had hoped that we would get to combat. I apologize in advance. I know some of you may say that that's the thing that you like the least, but long and the short is y'all didn't leave town, and I'm not just going to keep hammering you while you're in town. And there's no banditry in a town that's completely fucking desolate. I guess I could have thrown looters or something, but fuck it. No combat. Live with it.
That's fine.
Turn, would you like, what you hate, what you regret, what you least?
I hate making decisions. So that's hard for me.
Yeah.
Obviously. That's pretty much all I got out of it.
What was your favorite
It
part?
hurts. I like the way you did the acting and stuff this time. Thought that was good. The pompous juice guy.
Extreme characters, eh?
Yeah, that was good.
Cool. Jeremy, would you like, what you hate, what you regret, what you least?
It was good. Because everyone had their own like individual stories going on, it was really hard to keep track of everything and tie into things. So a lot of times I felt like I was confused as shit.
Yeah, the note.
Trying to figure out, like, you know, I was trying to take notes, but
I'm trying to fucking track it in my head. I'm like, did I cover that? I actually fucked it up a little bit, but I'll get to that
yeah,
later.
Other than that, it was good.
Okay. What was your favorite part?
The storytelling.
Oh, okay, fair enough. John, what'd you like? What'd you hate? What's your favorite, least?
Oh, I think it was very well done. It was not too much of a slow moment, and it was good placement. Watching you two bitch and bicker back and forth, that was just awesome, but painful.
I know why, like, meta, I know why, like, at least somewhat why you're doing what you're doing, but it's like, there's no justification whatsoever.
I also really, really enjoyed the scene where, you're here for the same reason as me because you're bored and noble.
And that was a good line. I like that one.
I've been trying to write down quotes I really, really like the fucking pussy one that he just said. I'm like, oh, that's going in there.
I liked Silas's, since we're talking about quotables. I send boys to die. Or I send young men to die.
Yeah.
Mark, would you like, what you hate, for at least?
I love the story building, like the world building and all that. Damn well is justification.
Damn right! Don't take this from this cretin! Human four-legged thing!
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you like the least?
I don't think there was really
A low point?
low point. I mean, it's always fun for combat, but at the same time, you need the world built, so it has to balance out.
Cool. And with that, Curtis, would you like, what you hate, at least?
So what I like, making Lemon not slowly die, I thought was pretty good. The acting and it was good. I did get a little bit lost, especially with the fact we each had kind of our own little plot lines and we didn't all have all the same information. So like in most sessions and most, like, you all have all the information, and it's still relatively complicated with a fair chunk of characters and different motivations. And honestly, with us keeping things from each other, I found myself a little bit lost as far as the motivations and the nuances of it a little bit.
Yet it all seemed to come to the same end, eh?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Though
funny?
I have no idea what the hell the deal is that we just shook on, or what,
No?
like, are we giving them the writ back? Or are they buying
I
They
it?
don't
don't
want
have
the writ.
the writ. They don't care about
The first
it
time
anymore.
he
No.
came and visited, he wanted to work through her with no mention of the writ. Like,
No, he did.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
he
said, we want our writ back. And you said, well, about that. And they understood.
Yeah.
You don't have it. For whatever reason, or you're not going to give it back, or whatever the fuck. They don't care. That was it for them.
Yeah.
That was literally it. Like, these guys, they're not going to sweat the small stuff. And if they wanted to take it, they'd already tried.
Yeah.
But Hiron tried that, and Hiron's dead. So they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Lessons learned.
And so, more on kind of like, so they hired or worked with, the Cropus worked with the Brotherhood, or what's the connection there?
So-
obviously he has a great deal of information.
So yeah, long and the short, well, this is all part and parcel of your history, and that's why I asked you the question. So, I mean, depending on what you want me to give away here, I can just meta explain.
Yeah, like that.
Okay, so long and the short, from what we discussed, you worked with your Brotherhood. They were hired to do a job.
Yeah.
You guys failed.
Yes.
So that's
and
it.
And they were, the Cropus were the ones that hired us?
And,
or
and Fonzie Cropus specifically.
How does he know my family name and that? And, like, obviously, he's got a great
Oh,
deal
he
of
made it
information.
his business. Yeah, this is 6 days in. He made it his business to find out who was in town of interest. And so, more to the point is, who was of interest regarding the doings around his cousin, as it were. But even that's giving away too much. So my point being, though, is he knows because he took an interest because of what happened to his cousin. So he made it his business to know his business.
Because that would not be particularly easy information
No.
to find.
Does it make sense why your dad found out where you are?
No.
You filed with your seal originally to get her license however long ago.
Yeah.
Word traveled. That's how your dad knows. So that's how he found you. What else?
So I'm also kind of confused why the Paladin of Bahamut is directly involved in Dysentera's shop.
So that's a part of his history that is that's not my business to deliver. There's meta reasons for why he's
So like I said, when there's
everybody
all these
has their
different pieces
reasons
of
for
backstory
being in
there
Malorins.
that the other players don't know, it just kind of gets confusing, I think, to a degree.
And that is where it is my challenge as storyteller to give you each a motivation and storyline of your own that ties you all into the same objective. Sensibly, logically, and interestingly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope I succeeded in doing that. I know it's a bit confusing, but I wonder if each of you are clear on your motivations towards why you're doing what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Well, yours is, I would say, very straightforward.
Yours is straightforward and open enough.
You owe me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so it gets kind of into a very different territory than we were seeing with other
does.
sessions and groups, because
Oh, okay, fair enough.
usually the amount of secret information hidden from one player to another is like
It's-
this much, and we've got like this much.
I wouldn't say it's I would say it's hidden but private, if you
Yeah.
will. It's things that don't need to be shared because they just make who the character is, if you will. There's bits of your history that I've involved here, I think, decently. Do I have a history for you? I feel like you gave me a history. Yeah, I do have a history. That's right. Yeah. I'm having trouble remembering what I derived from yours for some reason.
Before I forget,
But the fact that I'm
what's
essentially
this?
working at the shop, I
everybody
probably
takes
have some
600
idea what's
experience
going
and
on,
what?
There's him living there, and I didn't even know that.
For the tea.
The tea, the chocolate.
Oh,
tea. What's the fungus
Hershinked.
called? Hershey.
Yes.
Persian tea.
It's an underdark chocolate fungal tea.
Very expensive.
It's just difficult to get, typically.
Because
It's actually traded pretty frequently, believe it or not. The drow, it's one of the only things the drow can freely trade, because it's one of the few things that don't kill people that the drow manufacture. So
You can trade stuff that kills people too.
it's true. And even the Hershing tea is typically poisoned, so you know. But no, my question still stands: is does everybody have a clear direction on their motivations and why? I'm seeing nods from most people. How you doing over there? How do you feel about the story so far?
I mean, it's fine.
Do you understand it?
Yeah, for the most part, I guess. I mean, I don't know what the bottom line really is here.
Oh, we haven't got there. This part of the story feels like, to me, it's just starting out. we kind of settled the Jasper part of it. Now it's like this background element. Yeah, so like I said, that was the other thing.
Yeah.
You guys know where Jasper is. So to
I
meta,
haven't told anyone though.
no, I'm just gonna meta explain
Okay.
this. To give you guys an idea, is the staff had Morgantha in it, right? The old devil, demon, dragon thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that thing had Jasper's soul, right, or a chunk of it. That thing got put down by his patron, who's now in the staff. We caught that part. The staff adjusted, melted away, turned into his staff. So, that said, where did the devil, demon, dragon thing go? Right? Well, it went back to wherever the devil, demon, dragon thing came from originally, which happens to be the first layer of the abyss, Avernus. So, basically the first pit of hell. And so, what's he doing there? Oh, he's hanging out, fighting,
Yeah.
you know, what you do, the eternal battle.
Yeah.
But he happens to have a chunk of Jasper with him. Right, so that chunk of Jasper, gone off-world. But, as it turns out, Tozu still has one little chunk of Jasper's soul. So, Jasper's soul is in two places. A little bit of it's in that staff, and a little bit is off in Avernus. In hell. How nice. But it's not just in hell, it's being kept in that devil dragon. Demon dragon thing.
Why do we care so much about Jasper?
We don't. I'm just saying, it's there.
It was Leandra from the lot. She's like, we gotta save him.
Why don't
It's
we
like,
talk about him?
Yeah.
Like, we already got the money from
Toma
saving
took it
him.
for
I'm over it. Move on. What is the bigger picture?
Like, really, let's be honest. One kid versus...
He's one of about 50 that
Like,
died.
yeah,
make
how
another
many
one.
freaking people already died? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it's just, yeah. No, she wanted to save
No, I'm
him.
just saying, it's there. It is
Yeah.
there as a thing. I'm not making a big deal. I mean, I just work here.
Yeah.
But, no, the point is that's a thing that you guys could do. So, you know, if you ever find yourself in a church somewhere, talking to the right cleric, maybe it's something to bring up. You know,
And
I
why do
was
we care
just
so much
wondering.
about the city we're in? Like, because my shop is there? Why would that? It doesn't matter.
No,
I can
whatever.
take all my shit and get another shop. Like,
I'm trying to stay in the city for a reason, but
okay. Well, I don't have any clue
Also, I
about that.
might want to point out that there is a certain point about your conscription. You've been conscripted by your family, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that means that you're officially in the military. Your charge is protecting the swamps and its peoples. That's literally your official
like
title.
the fish people, right?
No, like
Against the fish
protecting the Cormyrian kingdom against the fish people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was protecting the fish
Yeah.
people.
Oh,
so I
what?
thought
I
it
thought
was
too.
like backwards.
Why?
So you were going
Because they're
against.
evil.
Yeah,
What?
I thought his family was.
My family's evil.
Lop was not evil.
They're not that sort of evil.
Oh. Yeah,
They
so I
still
thought
have,
the
like,
two
a
things
kingdom
were
and
going
shit.
They're
against
kind of
like a
douchebags,
Rothschild.
but that's
They're
beside the point.
brutal. They can be douchebags. They can be like all sorts of murderous. They still have a kingdom to run. They still need to make babies to have more soldiers, and that takes growth, right? Otherwise, you run out of soldiers and you die. So, to cause growth, they make friends too, and they provide soldiers. And what do those soldiers that they provide do? They go out and they become good killers. They come back to the kingdom and then they kill for the kingdom,
Okay, well,
right?
that's where I was very confused. Because
Yeah.
I thought his writ said that he was protecting the fish, and the other writ was fighting.
No shit, no. No
That's
shit, no.
it. So I thought they were going against each other, and I was
Okay,
like, how
that-
the fuck do I choose between this?
There's a point to all this. It goes like this. Basically, let's look at this. Okay, the whole time that you guys have been talking about this, you're officially part of the I can't remember your kingdom's fucking name.
Gracie.
No, that's your family name, but your kingdom had a name too, and I cannot fucking remember for the life of me. Also, it's in a land up north. Point being, I'll look it up later. The fact is, you've been conscripted into the military, and then you've been doled out to the Cormyrians as a charge on the behalf of the kingdom of your father's kingdom. So your writ says that you can seek out the support of the military. You are the military that you will be seeking the support of.
Military exchange program.
So quite literally, like, he who bears the writ can be like, I'm invoking the writ. And you're like, all right, what do you need? And that's, yeah. So that's the situation, too. Like, she can be like, yo, bitch. And you'd be like, yes, I am. And that's the situation at hand now. So, like, literally, you can be called upon by the military if necessary. At the current point, though, what did your family do? They tied you to the swamp. They said, you have to be in charge of protecting, the swamp and its peoples. The Cormyrean peoples.
Okay.
So
yeah, my motivation is, to lay relatively low and not, get these big organizations after me.
yeah, so
O'Shea's, I have no further clue at this point.
O'Shea is actually the middleman. Has ended up in the position where she's helped organize and orchestrate this, such that you guys have objectives that are told to you by the Cormyreans directly. She's basically the contact with Silas, or Silas, yeah, Silas Holden.
I also don't really have anyone mad at me.
Yeah, there is that too.
Yeah.
She's quite literally the only one with no enemies. Who also has good contacts in all sorts of places. I mean, when you go to Marsember, you need a boat. Got a boat. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. So, she's the bard. She's playing the bard role.
Yeah.
Eventually artificer. I suppose there's that. I forgot to fucking mention. Sorry. So there is an after credit scene of during the week where it shows you slogging through the swamp, following some stubby, wide-shouldered old man. He looks like the grandpa off of Dragon Ball. Trying to remember.
It was
Roshi?
Master Roshi, yeah.
Oh,
What was his
Gohan.
name? No, Master Roshi.
The grandpa or the trainer guy? The turtle hermit or the actual grandpa that died?
bald guy?
The fucking buff grandpa.
Okay.
Buff grandpa, Roshi.
Okay.
So not Gohan.
Not Gohan.
Okay.
Anyway, slogging through the swamp as you are, Rufus Lee,
Yes.
looks back towards you, and he's got like a big tool belt on, and he's got like another sash of like old fittings and shit, and he's slogging through, and he's got a barrel fucking strapped to a rope around himself, and he's just this massive hulking dude, but he's like maybe about 5 feet tall, almost, and he's got a beard that goes down to about his nipples. As he's walking through this place, and it's just like it's caught with fucking bits of leaves and shit. There's mud splattered up. Just, it's interesting to me that you wanted to learn this. As he's walking through the swamp there, and you guys come upon one of these apparatuses that you've never seen before, and it's a funky thing. And you can see on the side, it's got this big metal tube that's coming out of the swamp, and it looks basically like a big cane. And it has a little platform, and the barrel sits there, and you can see every so often something chuffs, like a bellows sinks down and some pressure is created and a bunch of fluid gets sucked up through the tube and spurted out through a netting into the barrel. And you see like a couple fish at the apex of the cane kind of drop back into the swamp. And as this all occurs, you watch as a bunch of fluid shoots out the side, and a bunch of mud seeps down. And says, "This one right here, gotta take care of that. Now what you'll want is this right here," and he pulls out a tool, and it shows you coming close and watches. He's doing it. "Here, did you want to take care of this?" And you eagerly take the tool, and he points it out, and the camera pans away to show you learning this craft, learning how to tinker around with various bits of metal and tools and whatnot. And montages showing you crafting a piece to like bend around it and whatnot. And then he puts up a hand, and you give him a high five afterwards. And it shows you guys.
During the week?
This is during the week, yeah. So there you go. There's that too. Forgot to mention that during the funeral procession and all that.
Yes. Plumbing.
My favorite part is getting through a lot of world building. This was a lot of world building. My favorite part is actually getting through it all without fucking up too badly. There was one thing I fucked up. And I don't know if it was really a fuck up. I think I just, you could say I changed my mind halfway through. If you're interested to know what that was, it was tying you two together even further. In having Alistair actually spring you from custody. Not spring you so much so like, break you out, but come to you and say, "I need your help, I'll let you go, or I'll get you out of here if you agree to do this. I can have you enlisted as a part of state. So rather than have you have the choice, I railroaded that, having your dad basically, extend the arm of what the hell was his name there, Marix,
Yeah.
who came out. So now you've got an adversary out of the deal instead. I think that might be a little better of a dynamic than something that doesn't leave anything afterwards. So yeah, more seeds better than less seeds. There was a lot to go through. So if I'm not mistaken, I actually got. There was going to be an assassination attempt. Actually, I won't say where that was going to be, but I decided against it to keep the expedience going, to keep the story flowing. I had originally planned to have like a combat that involved everybody, but in completely different areas. So like each of you would have your own individual combat, but it'd be the same initiative order, and it's just going around, and each of you has a different. I've done it before.
Okay.
Sometimes successfully. You do your best. But yeah, anyway, I think that's enough of that. Enough of my babble. There was a lot to this session. So I'm glad everybody thought it complicated. I'm glad everyone seems borderline about if it's too complicated.
Oh, that's great. No, I think it's a good plot. It's just, like I said, because of the different character motivations that are not entirely clear, like you almost want to have that meta knowledge even if your character isn't meant to have it, and kind of have that distinction just so that you're not totally lost half the time.
That's totally
To
fair.
appreciate a scene that's going on, even
So
if
that you understand
even
the
if your
context.
character's not meant to understand it.
That's fair.
Have I ever mentioned what the motivation for Arrakis is?
I'm basically going with Golem.
No.
That's how you appear to us. You're just like, staff, my precious. And you don't really tell us what you're doing. You just
Well, no one asked.
demand shit.
Like Silent Bob, quiet and will pass to be said.
Yes.
Asks nice and forcefully.
Yes, there we go.
Sign on the back of the buses. Creatures of Hollywood, you dumb fuck.
Exactly.
I'm enjoying that, actually. I wasn't sure how I wanted to run a patron. Your patron never interacts. But you're supposed to have a patron all the same, but there's never any interaction, whereas yours is very prevalent. Your cat is more prevalent than your patron.
Yeah.
Maybe the
We've never made a thing of it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just this sleeper patron. Doesn't seem to really care, I guess. What is your patron again?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh wait, you're not a warlock. You're a
Yeah.
fucking tiefling. I'm an idiot.
That's why I'm
I'm
like,
an
the
idiot.
fuck,
No, you have a
man?
pact. I always mix those two
Pact
up.
is the warlock again.
No,
No.
because you
Pact of
have.
the Boon. Yeah, the pact of the tomb is the warlock that I am.
God damn it! I totally do that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, what is it then? You have
Toma has his deity and interactions. Maybe
Because
a
the
little
fiend,
like.
the
How was
original
I supposed to know I
bloodline
had
pact
these things?
for
Like,
the
because you
tiefling.
don't have these things. Not being a retard. That's
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
don't have these
I
things.
feel stupid. Like,
It depends
not
on
stupid.
don't know, man.
which one
Yeah.
tainted the bloodline.
Fucking
Because there's the
hell.
otherworldly
The other
patrons
day,
for
I went
the
to
tiefling.
Winners and I
There's the
remembered you
fiend,
had something
the,
like this, and I was like,
like
no,
Cthulhu type
right?
shit.
I wish they had bigger ones. but-
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to
Yeah,
have.
don't
You're supposed to have come from something, and I can't remember. You have an origin of some sort.
Yeah.
Your bloodline. Your fucking bloodline.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
it's
I
a
don't know
prop.
if they so much
he's
interact
a little
unless
more
it's
demon
the
than-
warlocky.
They don't at all. Never mind.
So the fuck did I miss?
Nothing.
Okay.
I was mixing up fucking tieflings and warlocks because I'm
I can
retarded.
understand it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
point being,
Well,
you're
I feel
good.
dumb.
You have no voices in your head for a reason.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm the one with voices in his head.
Well, essentially what it is an ancestor of hers did become a warlock.
Yeah. That's I'm always
Ah,
mixing
yeah.
that whole origin
Yeah.
story up. But yeah, no, I like being the voice in your head, so that's fun.
You're very
But the
soothing
point
voice
in my
head.
story, isn't it just the shop? Like, that's all I'm getting
It's,
from this is, hi, I have a shop.
It isn't. It isn't actually, because your story's kind of a slow burn on the things that are supposed to happen throughout the swamp, linking back to your shop, your talents, your history here. That's all to be kind of developed in going to the place and seeing. But it doesn't have to be that destination, right? Your story is more or less, this is your town. Like, that's how I'm looking at it. Like, this is your home. These are your people. You're running an affair. You've got competition here. Is it just that you have a shop? I guess, yeah.
But now that I'm with them, the Cropus or whatever, what? That means...
You're a community leader.
Well, sort of. Well, I mean, like, where's the conflict?
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, if this isn't season 2 so much so, but if it's the second leg of the season, you were against this family before, right? But now you have a looming threat. And everyone's clamoring to try and figure something out. The Cropus guys don't really care. They want what they want. You want your home safe. Or do you? But you don't really care. But you have an opportunity to fix it. And these people that you've met, they've convinced you to give that a try? So that's where we're at, it seems like. Is that you were ready to leave. Because you know what? At the end of it, you hit your point. I think that's maybe the arc that we were talking about. What is Dysentera's story? Well, that's up to you to write. But as we're going, so far the arc's been you fought for your home, and now you're at a low point where you're like, I lost. And then you look to your enemy and you shake hands with them so that you can win. Because at the end of the day, you don't care about them. And just as well as they don't care about their writ or you.
I care about the swamp, I think, because I need the swamp.
That's just it. That's the same thing with the Cropus, oddly enough. And so I guess
your livelihood.
When
that and part of my storyline.
When you think about it, it's that whole...
Which again is that thing I was talking about.
Exactly.
It's like, does it help the group to know it from a kind of meta perspective, even if the character isn't?
I wonder
I'm not
if we
sure.
should all, know what we said.
Which is maybe...
The villain would have at some point here said, we're not so different, you and I, after all. You know, that sort of thing. Because at the end of the day, yeah, like you say, you care about the swamp, having the swamp, being able to use the swamp. You know, and that's been your interest.
And lucrative reasons.
Like I said,
exactly. It's been your livelihood, and you've made friends with the people of all the survivors now of this town.
And I guess that's another aspect of the... Does everyone know...
That circle of friends really shrank.
Like, relative to other sessions and groups I've been in, is... Generally speaking, if there's like character backstory, even if the party doesn't know it in general, the players have in other groups I've been in. And I guess that's
it's up to you guys. I'm not stopping anybody from sharing anything. But if people don't want to share their histories with you, they don't have to.
I feel like it might be beneficial to do kind of a meta show and tell, but I don't know if anyone else has a strong opinion on that.
I kind of like that idea because I feel like I would be more involved, like when I'm not playing. I would
basically, my character's backstory in a nutshell, and this is again meta that you do not know, is I was a prankster. Prank got my sister killed, got me disowned by my family. I found the what's the name of the Brotherhood? The full name? I forget. Anyway, I just call them the Brotherhood. Anyway. And basically, I got involved with them with petty things that got more and more escalated to the point I got involved in a trying to extract some people that were some ally, basically paying for protection, and the extraction failed, got the Brotherhood really pissed at me, and I slipped away, and I've basically been hiding out in the swamp, trading my family name, but trying to be discreet to get myself a bit of a position in this town, because my family still has a bunch of money and influence, but they're not really looking for me. They've more or less disowned me at this point. But the Brotherhood's still not happy with me, but not necessarily after me at this point. I don't know.
Okay.
It's been a while, but I've been evolving my talents and working with you and with Rutger.
Oh, Jesus. I just realized.
And that's meta. Oh, was that on stream?
Oh, we're still on stream.
Oh, whatever.
Of course we're still on stream. But you know what I didn't do this whole session?
What's up?
Oh, the intro.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, seriously.
by the way, gone fishing.
Yeah, that's what Leandra says. It's still Baracus looks than Leandra. I took your advice, actually, and changed it over to
I think that helps the stream a lot.
I think so, too. What the shit? Oh, I thought I had it.
So yeah, that's basically my story of why I'm here and why I'm trying to protect this area, because yeah, going elsewhere is a little risky. So again,
Oh, there we are.
I don't know if anyone else wants to do kind of the same type of thing from a meta perspective, but
Chat on the TV? It's on, no, not on the TV.
I think so, but maybe not at this time.
Oh wow, our left
the other
mic
thing
died.
is whether you want Shannon
That
to be
sucks.
present for a meta show and tell, just so
Well,
that,
probably,
Yeah,
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 the
that's-
whole group.
that would probably not be a bad point.
Well, that sucks.
So
The left mic died. But regardless,
oh, there we go.
That's my picture. I can't even see some guy sitting in the corner.
I'm done. Like what you see, we stream every Monday and Friday from 7 o'clock to whenever we finish. It has been my pleasure to be your dungeon master and entertainer to my wonderful palette of personalities that are my players. Once again, until next time, may your 20s always unknown 20. Have a good night.